Guys, it's Friday evening. It is Rick Ginn in the house. We are here at Flip with Rick, and we are live. If you guys want to know if I'm live, it is 5:02 Eastern Standard Time. And what's today's date? Today is the day after Cinco de Mayo. So hopefully you guys all had a good time. Um, Celebrated, but you came back to work. So today we are doing a part of a series. So I'm finishing up part 3. So Zach went over how to find in part 1, basically how to get started in wholesaling. The second one was all about marketing to, sorry, marketing for motivated sellers and doing the acquisitions. Today we are going to focus from the moment you get it under contract to the moment you sell it. And I'm going to walk you through in detail. This is specifically for anyone that has never really done wholesaling or they're trying to get their first deal. And it's going to be fun. So I'm going to take a little bit of time. We'll go through it. If you have a question, guys, those of you that are on YouTube, Facebook, anything else, join to the account, just put in your questions and I will answer them in order when I'm done with my teaching section. If you guys put the comments on TikTok, I will have either myself or Zach handle them best we can. If you want to see the entire presentation, go to the YouTube channel. It is all right there. And guys, that's it, man. It is Friday. So it's actually been a crazy week. If you guys are following the market, let me give you a news flash. We have some rough times coming. So even though we're coming out of winter, we like to say in the business world, it looks like winter's coming. And if you are not prepared for it, you need to wake up right now. I'm telling you, guys, real estate is going to change. Just follow the 10-year T-bill, and that's what's going to be tied to the mortgage. And it's I think it was at like 3.11 today. It's steadily going up a few points every day. And the neat thing about real estate is it's the last one to get the memo that we're in a recession. So if you guys are thinking like, hey, Wick, what's going on? The stock market's crumbling. All forms of assets are falling down. I'm here to tell you, real estate at some point will follow. It always has at least a 6 to 12 month lag effect. So a lot of times when you're coming out of recession, that's when real estate actually gets hit, because as interest rates go up, I'm talking specifically with mortgage rates, it's going to squeeze your buyer pool down. So, but we'll talk about it in the Q&A part. You guys should have lots of questions. It's going to be fun. The really cool part is if you're asking questions, Rick, is this a good time to get into wholesaling? It's actually probably the best time in history, because you're going to eventually have more motivated sellers down the line here. And I'm here to tell you, change is good. But the really cool thing about wholesaling is it doesn't matter. I've made money in markets like we have right now. And I made money back in 2009, 10, and 11 when you couldn't give a house away. So if you're worried about trying to time wholesaling, it doesn't work that way. So you need to have your long-term vision goggles on. And if you are looking to free your time and get financial freedom, wholesaling, I'm here to tell you, is the absolute best way to get started in real estate investing. And I made this decision 20 years ago, and that's why we're all here talking to you. For those of you who have never seen me and you're on TikTok, my son, Zach Ginn, he got started out at 16 and 17 in wholesaling and did it while he was in high school. And we did it between wrestling tournaments. He did it while he was in college too. And I'm here to tell you, I don't care what your age is. I don't care if you're 99 or you're 14 or 15 starting out. The key is, if you do not want to accept mediocrity in your life and you're tired of playing by all these rules and all these beliefs pushed down by society, you don't have to. But you're going to have to put in the work and the effort. And this is where we all connect here on wholesaling. So, guys, use the comment section. Let me know what market you're in. And let's have fun while we do this. So it's like I don't take myself too seriously. Honestly, I remember the first day I started wholesaling, and it's burnt so much into my brain. In 2013, I decided to get out of the education space because I thought too many gurus were ruining it. Here we are in 2022. You guys know how I feel about it. I believe wholesaling should be free for everybody. I don't care if you're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. It's ridiculous. If you guys are going to pay these ridiculous fees and think you're going to teach you how to wholesale, you have another thing coming. Okay. I, myself, and Zach are active wholesalers. I've been doing this 20 years. I absolutely love it. I don't just do wholesaling. I do all sorts of types of deals in real estate, but wholesaling is still my favorite. It's what got me hooked into this business. And I'm here to tell you, I will teach you, Zach will teach you how to do wholesaling for free. If you guys haven't had a chance, you can sign up for our 90-day challenge. It's going to be starting in June. If you want to know more about it, go to yesterday's broadcast, which was on Cinco de Mayo. And me and Zach sat for 2 hours and went through the whole details. But guys, wake up. I almost hear people yawning out there, and I cannot accept it. Guys, fired up. Let's go. You know what I'm about to do.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, and they got go. Time to wake up, bitch. Get up. Get up. Get up.
Guys, that's what I'm talking about, having fun. So if you're on TikTok and like, what the heck is that going on? Join us on our YouTube channel, Flip with Rick. You'll get a more detailed version of it, but whatever way you want to consume the information, I don't care. My whole goal is to wake people up and let them understand you can take charge of your financial future. Guys, I didn't wake up till I was 33, and I'm here to tell you, from 33 to where I'm now approaching 53, complete night and day how my life is. And I'm here to tell you, I had to get in the trenches just like you guys did. And I fought the first 2 or 3 years I did wholesaling. And I had good days. I had bad days. I had good weeks. I had bad months. I just stuck to it. So if you're in a rut and you're stuck and you haven't got a deal yet, or you're spending so much time to studying, I'm here to tell you, we're going to teach you today. I specifically, Rick, going to teach you how to take action from the time you get the contract to get paid on your deals. So if you're wondering, dude, does this guy know what he's talking about? I'm here to tell you, I have done so much real estate. I haven't lost track, but we're approaching 3,000 plus deals, which is really cool. It's hard to think over all the years I've done that much, and I'm talking about stuff I have actually personally flipped. So we run a seven-figure wholesaling operation. I've been doing it over 20 years now, and I just want to share this information. I believe there's too many barriers for you guys to learn wholesaling. It should be for free. You learned your ABCs for free. I'm here to teach you wholesaling, and then you can take off from there. So it's very, very easy to get the 6 figures in wholesaling. So without further ado, we're going to go into the teaching part, finding your cash buyers for your deals and bring your deals home. This is a 3-part series. This is part 3. And at the end of this, if you guys want to jump on a live, I believe it's pinned to the top of the, let's see. Did I pin it on the top? Somewhere in here, there's a link, and we do one-on-ones, and I do it absolutely for free. You got to be a member of our Wholesaling for Houses for Real. The link's on Facebook as well, too. And I will find somewhere to put the link up here. Let me see here. Well, I'll find it while I'm doing this. So if you guys are new to the channel, you're just starting, go to freewholesaling.com. We have an entire course there. It's 100% free. There's no upgrades. Freewholesaling.com, just the way it sounds. And that's the first place always to get started. So second, if you're new to the channel, I'm Dad, AKA Rick. My son is Zach Ginn. So Zach didn't age like 20 years overnight. This is his dad. And so do me a favor, hit that like button. Give me lots of love out here. I don't care what, how you're consuming the information, and click that subscribe button and we'll notify you when we go live. We go live 4 times a week. We go more than anybody else in the wholesaling space because we want to get the information out to you and we want you guys to be successful. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So let me fix. Okay. So I'm going to slide the face kind of in and out when we do it. Now, keep in mind, if you're brand new to this, this is going to be very, very valuable information for you. This is the stuff everyone's trying to charge you thousands of dollars for. I'm giving you 20 years experience behind it. I did deals today. I sold deals today. I do deals every day of the week, even occasionally on Sunday. So without further ado, let's jump into it. I'm going to switch the full screen here so you guys can see it. So you don't have to see my mug the entire time. If you guys are on TikTok, you can jump on Flip with Rick YouTube and you can see the slide presentation, or you can just hear the information. It still works. So in the first series, Zach taught you how to find distressed properties, and how to do the marketing for it. And then taught you how to work with your sellers, call them, the scripts, the agreements, and taught you how to get picks. And today we are going on to the point where you basically are going to put it under contract and you are going to sign the agreement. And then we're going to walk you how to walk through your title company. And we're going to teach you specifically on how to deal with your new cash buyer on the assignment agreement. How do you get them to the property? What do we say to our seller? And how do we put this all together? So if you guys are a little bit more seasoned, just take some refresher notes on it and just, tell me what you add to your flair on this. But guys, I've been doing this 20 years. Don't deviate from this because it really, really works. So that's me. I'm Dad. We've kind of been over this. I've been doing this 20 years. I was stuck in a corporate job. I went to college. I did everything my parents told me to do, and it was a massive failure. If you guys hate working for somebody sitting in a cubicle and being constantly threatened with your job, then I just gave up. I tried it, I think, for 11, 12 years, and I hated every day of working in my corporate job. Their decisions were terrible. Everything was about quick profit. And I found real estate investing and I dove into wholesaling and I haven't looked back, and that was 20 years ago. So 3,000 deals plus. I teach wholesaling 100% for free. I do not charge for this. Okay. I will never charge for it. This is what I do. And why am I doing this? Honestly, because I do very well flipping properties. And I am not required to come on and teach anybody anything. It's what I choose to do. It creates a legacy, and I want to help out as many people as possible. I was broke, just like a lot of people that are watching this stream. I know what it's like to be broke. It's terrible. I have the cure for it. I'm telling you, got to put in the work. But if you want to do what you want, never set an alarm clock, and have freedom and have the money to do anything you want, wholesaling is where you want to be. So, and I'm on a mission, guys. Listen, I believe gurus charging for these courses are doing how I learned this business 20 years ago. And I'm here to tell you, it's BS. It's all for the money grab. It's all short-term money thinking. Okay. If you teach enough people and help them, you will be rewarded one way or the other. Okay. So I'm not chasing money. I'm actually doing the opposite. I'm trying to help out as many people as possible and develop as many relationships as I can. Why? Because everybody else charges for this information. I think it's ludicrous. This is how I learned the business 20 years ago. Nothing's changed. By the way, the only thing that's changed in 20 years, you ready for this? The only thing that's changed is they've lowered the price because there's so much competition amongst gurus. Most gurus started in this business from 2013 on. They have no idea what a rocky market looks like, and I'm here to help you navigate through it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Full disclosure, guys, I am not a lawyer. That's not my dog. I'll put my face on here so you guys can see me. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a CPA. I'm not here to give you professional counseling. Make sure you seek out legal counsel before making any type of investment of any magnitude. Okay. So our disclaimers are out. Everybody's heard that. Let's move forward. And by the way, I do love dogs. Just sometimes dogs don't love me. So particularly my old dog here. So daughter's going to kill me. Okay. So guys, the contract signed, right? So what's the next step after we sign the contract? So many wholesalers think, okay, well, I've done my job. That I did the hard part. I'm here to tell you in the beginning, it's all kind of hard because it's new to you. So you have to go through steps and procedures to get deals done. So remember, we're talking about doing this business virtually today. Okay. You guys in your backyard, just translate to the stuff. And if you can go there in person, get it done, you can save a lot of steps. So I'm talking about virtually. Me and Zach, we do virtual markets. So you have it under contract. The next step is we have to pull the title. We have to get pictures. We have to have our partner or a cash buyer do the walkthrough. And then we head to the closing. So what I'm going to do it down in these next series of slides, we're going to break down the detail of each one of these processes. And you have to be almost robotic in your systems. Don't let anybody change how you do these procedures, because the minute you change it is when you're going to have problems and headaches. Remember, guys, I'm teaching you to run a business, not a hobby. Okay? So you have your virtual deal under contract, the contract signed. So the first thing you do is you send the contract to the title company, and you're going to send your EMD. So EMD is just a fancy word for earnest money deposit, which is just the upfront payment you make on a piece of real estate. Now, that money is put in escrow. The money is completely safe. It's not in the seller's hand. It's in a neutral party's hands. And I'm here to tell you guys, yes, you should leave an earnest money deposit. Is it legally required? No. Okay. So we're going to send the earnest money deposit to the title company. You can either drop off a check, you can do a wire. I'm warning you, if you have a $100 deposit, to wire the $100 to your title company probably cost you like $35. So you might want to just go by and drop off a check, or ask them if you can just direct deposit in their account. Okay. After that, we are going to find the cash buyer, and then we're going to do the cash buyer walkthrough. Okay. Don't worry. I'm going to go into detail on this stuff. I just want everyone to understand what the system is. And guys, I'm looking at your questions. If it's relatable to what we're doing here, we'll go ahead and pop it on. But I promise you, I will answer them all in the end. So you guys are welcome to talk amongst yourself, because you guys answer most of the questions, and it's really helpful. Okay. After we walk through, we get the assignment of contract. Let me get this off of there. And then we're going to follow up with the seller at least twice a week through the closing. So let me rephrase this, okay? This is so you guys have a systematic approach on what to deal once you have your properties under contract, okay? So we're talking specifically virtually. So if I'm in Miami and I'm doing a deal in, say, Salt Lake City, Utah, I'm going to do the exact same procedure. Going to send the contract to EMD to the title company. I'm going to go out and bust my butt to find a cash buyer, especially if I don't have everyone lined up. Then I'm going to schedule some sort of walkthrough to have them look at the asset. They're going to already review the contract and everything. We're going to get the assignment of contract signed, and then we're going to follow up with the seller. This right here, guys, number 5, is what takes out most wholesalers. Why? Because you get so excited, you get somebody under contract, and then you start working with your cash buyers and you forget about your sellers. I'm here to tell you, those sellers still get marketed to. They get cold called. You have to stay fresh with them, which means you have to stay in contact with them. Do not ignore them. If you ignore them, they'll assume you went away and they will not execute your deal. Remember, you have a contract. They still have to come to the table to do the closing. So it's very important not to skip step 5. Step 5 was probably my biggest Achilles heel in my first 2 years, because I ignored it. Meaning I would put somebody under contract and then I'd check back with them in 30 days, only to find out they didn't want to sell anymore, or they said they found a new buyer and he's taking care of everything. Guys, communication is key. It matters big time in life, and especially in real estate. So, okay. So virtual wholesaling. Let's talk about the title company. Okay. The biggest question I get is, hey, Rick, can I use my title company in my local market for my virtual wholesaling? The answer is absolutely 100% no, because every state's different. They have different compliance and laws. They have different procedures. They have different customs. You want to use somebody in that local market that is familiar with working with investors, and you cannot use your local title company. I've tried it. I'm telling you, it's an absolute disaster. You need to go out and find a local title company. So your next question is, how do I find them? It's real simple. Just go to any type of, first of all, you can Google anything, okay? But I would find a title company that does business in that particular city and state, and then find out if they are investor friendly, okay? How do you do that? You just cold call them. You find out if you work with assignments. Do they do virtual deals? Are you okay with me not being there? Will you electronically sign? Will you mail me docs? Whatever they want to do. Another great way is, guys, just simply go online. I don't care what it is. These Facebook groups. So if I'm in like Knoxville and I want to do virtual marketing in Knoxville, I'm going to join the Knoxville investor groups, and then I'm just going to search title companies. And you will see a chain of title companies. Guys, just use what people are using. Ask them the critical questions. If you guys go to my YouTube channel, Flip with Rick, just search title companies. I have an entire, I think, 30-minute video on the exact questions to ask all your title companies. Use that. It's really easy. And guys, you've got to make sure you do this before you get a deal in a virtual market, okay? It's really important. When you get a deal and then you try to do this, it puts a lot more stress on you. So if you're just getting started out, find your local virtual wholesaling title company. It's much easier, okay? You want to send the contract, and you want to get the okay from them so you can use that contract. Remember, you're going in another state, and it's important, I'm going to take, so I'm going to block it off there, that you use the right documents in that state. Every state has a little bit different contract law, and you want to make sure it's compliant. Technically, you can do a contract on the back of a napkin, but I don't recommend that. So, guys, it's really, really important. So if you don't have a title company at virtual market, I want you to go out and get them. Guys, they're really easy to get. I've done a million videos on this. Just go under the YouTube Flip with Rick, search for title companies, and I'll walk you through the exact questions to ask them. I've been through so many title companies. I know exactly how they think and operate. And remember, they're a big part of your team, and you want them to help it out. So, okay. So now we're going to send the EMD. Okay. And so EMD, once again, is a fancy word for deposit, earnest money deposit. It doesn't go in your seller's hands. It goes into a licensed and insured company, and they have a fiduciary responsibility, which means they have to be financially responsible to both parties. So as long as everybody follows the contract, you leave an EMD. Are you required to leave an EMD? No, you're not. And I see a lot of flack in the wholesaling community. I'm going to tell you, for the first 2 years, I never even left a deposit. Guys, this was 20 years ago. This is why I don't teach wholesaling the way I was taught 20 years ago, because you have a different world. I will tell you, there's a flip side. If you leave zero, your sellers get a little wishy-washy. They don't think you're real. They question if it's going. We used to do $10. That was the standard. I'm here to tell you, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving you legal advice. You legally do not have to leave a deposit. You can negotiate whatever you want. But in my experience, sellers feel like they always have an out if you don't leave them a deposit. And for that reason, I recommend you at least leave $100. I watched somebody's recorded, I guess it was live, and they said earnest money is a contractual obligation. It's not. It's actually negotiable. It's part of the contract. Okay. Here's the reality. If you enter in a contract with me and you leave zero deposit, but you want to buy my real estate for $300,000, and then you don't do anything, you don't follow up, I can still sue you and hold you accountable with a zero deposit. People go, well, there's zero deposit, it's not a contract. That's not true. I'm just here to tell you, I've seen it tested in court. A deposit is a gauge if you're a real buyer or not, and that's what it's used for. The more you put down, usually the better your percentage is having your contract stick. Now, here's a couple rules I do with this, okay? I'm going to help you out on this. I'll go back to that. Leave whatever you're comfortable with the deposit. And sometimes you are limited. Remember, it's not always your money. Sometimes you can use friends, family, have a business partner. You guys can get hard money loans, soft money loans. There's always a way to leave it. Remember, You leave a deposit once and you get it back when you assign the property. Okay. You can actually have it released the day you get an assignment and replace your deposit money. You have to work with your title company on that. They have different rules, depends on which title company you use. So, in theory, if you're flipping one property at a time, say you even leave a $200 deposit, I'm here to tell you the $200 is really not at risk and you're going to get that back anyways. So don't freak out. I probably got 30 plus properties with deposits out there, but I've been doing this a long time. Okay. And I have an entire balance sheet that accounts for all our deposits on properties. Now, when I started out, I did zero. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I did nothing. I left huge amounts of money. I couldn't afford to at the time. And sometimes I left $10 or $100 and I was wincing. So if your seller's confident with you and you can pull it off, and that's the only way you can do it, you better bend over backwards and make sure you take care of that seller. It is not a requirement. Show me a law anywhere. I'm not a lawyer. I'm here to tell you, it's your sellers that freak out when you don't leave a deposit because they talk to other realtors, they talk to other wholesalers and go, oh, he didn't leave a deposit. It's a myth. It's a theory. Leaving a deposit is not required by contract. I hear gurus been in this business less than 10 years saying it's a requirement. It's an absolute lie. I've been to court. I've actually been part of a case with this. I'm here to tell you it's not required. So if I can contract your property with no money, but remember, I can hold you accountable. You can hold me accountable if I don't perform. So the contract stands on that merit. I'm here to tell you the more you leave, the better off. Now, what type of deal would I leave a very low deposit or almost no deposit? If the deal is very, very squirrely, the numbers are way too tight, I will tell the seller, listen, I'm going to leave a very small deposit, or I'm not going to leave a deposit at all until I can verify your roof, your air conditioning, and then I'm going to bring my buyers by there. And honestly, if I don't get the right feedback, I'm pulling out of that contract real fast. Why tie up $500 or $1,000 on a deal that is 50-50 at best? So the worse the deal, the lower deposit. On the other side, guys, if you get a really, really good deal, say your neighbor just comes to you and goes, this has happened to me once before. I just want to sell my house. I want any hassle. I'll give it to you 75 cents on the dollar. But you're going to have to leave a $3,000 deposit. Okay. Guys, if it is a smoking deal that has a ton of money on it, find a way to leave that $3,000 because you're not risking that money. It's just a deposit. You're going to have to come up, find a way to fund it, assign it, whatever you need to do. But if I have a really good deal, I want to leave the biggest deposit possible so my seller knows we have a deal. So hopefully that clears up the EMD. I get this question all the time. If I have a shaky deal and it ain't working out and like I don't think it's going to work out, I'll leave no deposit or $100. And then if they do a price adjustment or a correction with me and they knock 10 or 20 grand off of it, I might leave $500 instead of 100. So use that little trick. I'm telling you guys, it works wonderfully. But if you don't like the way the offer they're making you, don't reach for a huge deposit. It's not worth it because you want to get your money out and move on if you have to get out of it. And you know, my theory is if you're paying too much for the property, you're probably going to struggle on it. So the next thing we're going to do to the title company for your virtual deals is you want to send the seller's information to the title company with a signed contract. Now, one of the things I like to do is I like to put the seller's information right below their signature and their name on the contract. That way you don't have to send a separate email to your title company. If you have handwriting like me and Zach, you probably have to send a separate email because I kind of write like a doctor. I just, it's brutal, man. So, and I wrote in cursive for the longest time. Now, if I showed you my print, you'd think I'm a doctor, but I'm not. So many times we send the contract and you don't send the title company the contact information. Guys, it is absolutely critical. Let me see if I put it on this slide. It is critical to send that contact information because the first thing you want your title company to do is contact your seller. You know why? Because it's going to give you legitimacy. It's going to make your deal legitimate. They're going to go, oh my gosh, they got a title company. They're absolutely 100% for real, and it will save you. Now think about in the seller's shoes. If you tell them, yeah, we're going to use a title company and they don't hear from a title company for like 2 weeks, you're going to get your sellers very nervous. So make sure you explain to your title company. I don't care if it's local or virtual. Once you give them that information, that day they got to reach out to your seller and make contact and let them report back to you that they spoke to the seller, we're pulling title, everything's good. the more people that talk to your sellers, the better chance of your deal going through. So don't ignore this because it will blow up on you. So we're going to send the seller information to the title company with a copy of the signed contract. We gave the title company you want to give them an email, a phone number, if there's a separate mailing address, anything they need to get in contact with them. Because remember, the title company's job is to pull the title and get all the paperwork ready for the closing and help you prepare for your next wave, which is the assignment of contract. Okay. Remember, guys, you get your EMD back. Do not lose sleep over EMD. I'm here to tell you. Okay. So let's talk about the inspection period. I get buried on this question, and I think a lot of you just over complicate this. Okay. Number one, don't lie to your sellers. Just don't lie to them. It's easier. If you don't lie to them, you don't have to worry about what you say. Remember, you're there to help them out of a jam, and you sometimes will buy the property, but most likely you're going to sign the property, and you're going to bring in other partners, contractors, repair people to take a look at the property, because these are the types of properties we buy, guys, right? So your inspection period is basically your get out of jail free clause. I'm not a big fan of how that's worded, but you basically, when you go under inspection, it's completely normal to have an inspection period. Now, a normal inspection period with a traditional realtor is going to be anywhere from 7 days to 15 days. That's the norm, guys. Okay. You are not the norm. You are not the norm. You are not a realtor. So if you're new in the business, I'm here to tell you, the longer inspection period you can get, the more options you have with the property. Now, sometimes I get a really good deal, and for them to induce me to buy the property, they'll ask for a very, very small inspection period. Guys, I can do that. I don't care. Like, I buy them sight unseen all the time. I've been doing it 20 years. If you're just starting out doing your property, please be aware of this. If they're telling you you can only get a 2 or 3 day inspection period, and you've never moved a deal before, and you haven't actively got a cash buyers list, you're going to have to be careful how you commit to that, because if you can't find a cash buyer in 3 days, you're in trouble. And I'm just here to tell you, in the beginning, I always ask for 30 days. Guys, most of the properties we're buying are in pretty rough shape, and most of them are fine with it because the property's been sitting around for a while. But I'm here to tell you, if you do anything under like 7 to 10 days, you're under a real challenge, and you better be getting a really good deal. Make sure you have enough time to bring in to find out if you can get a cash buyer for it. Do not enter in a deal where you have to close in 2 or 3 days and you've never done this before. It's not a get out of jail free clause. It's like you're going to be in trouble, because if you let the inspection period go by, you now are at risk of being sued, and we don't ever want that for you. Okay. Remember, our intent is to get the property sold to help them out. If you're the buyer or you bring in one of your other cash buyers, it's irrelevant. The main focus is you have to liquidate that property for them, and you have to follow through. You should have like a 90% close ratio. Some of them just fall off because the seller wants too much or the property's in such bad shape. Okay. You won't get every one of them, but if you're only doing like 50% of them, you guys are you're way bidding the properties up too much, or you don't have a long enough inspection period. Okay. Remember, your inspection period gives you, if you have a 10-day inspection period, you have up till day 10. I always say do it a day before 9 to get out of the contract no matter what happens. They can't sue you. They can't do anything. It is an out. Okay. This is the window you want. If you can get 2 weeks, greater. If you can get 30 days, awesome. If you can get 45 days, amazing. If you can get 60, phenomenal. I don't rarely go past 60, but in a soft market, which, guys, I think's just around the corner, it's not uncommon to get 30 to 45 day inspection periods. You guys are so used to like 7 to 15 days. This is going to be a real treat for you, but you even have to work harder to get a buyer in a soft market. So the inspection period is what gives you the option to find a cash buyer to replace your buying intentions. And that's where you got to understand, this is the one you don't have to ask for any permission to get out of the contract. This is what makes wholesaling so lucrative. Okay. Now, keep in mind, if you get 30 to 45 days, it's amazing. It's a little challenging in a hot market. Don't get me wrong. It's going to change, guys. It's going to be much more negotiable, and you get out of the contract. you got to understand this, okay? Realtors get out of, so I sell a lot of properties with realtors on like wholesale deals. 50% of the realtors get out of my contracts. So realtors do it, but then wholesalers get a bad rap because we do it. I'm here to tell you, it's just part of the business. The sooner you can find out feedback from your cash buyers, try not to wait till the last day of the contract. Be respectful and get in there and get it done. So usually if you got it under the right price, 1 or 2 buyers, the property is usually sold really quick. And I never, ever have a problem doing this. The only time you guys ever have a problem is if you overpay for the properties. And if you follow me at freewholesaling.com, I'm here to tell you, we don't teach that way. So I'm not a guru who wants you to have success getting a contract. That is not success. Buying a property is not success. Selling a property is massive success. Okay. You only profit from the day you actually liquidate the asset. And guys, I got tons of rentals. I can challenge you that on all day long. All day long. I really don't get paid till the day I sell it. Yes, I get tax deductions, stuff like that, but I don't profit from there. So if realtors got a contract, so can you. Just make sure you are always honest and open with your sellers. And if you can't do it in the inspection period time, ask for more, or you might have to negotiate a little bit on the price and figure it out. Okay. I'm going to keep moving here, guys. I promise we're going to do Q&As when we're done this. So now you have that. You've worked with your title company. It's under contract. Now it's time to get paid. You've got to find that cash buyer. Everybody wants to talk about finding a cash buyer. I'm here to tell you it's not that hard. But the way people teach you to find cash buyers, you have to have a good discipline in doing it the right way, because just getting cash buyers' emails is a complete waste of time. It's going to make you feel good, but I'm here to tell you it's not going to work. And I'm going to show you why. So let's go through it. Remember, the cash buyer is your end buyer that's going to be buying your contract. Guys, remember, we're not acting as brokers. We're not acting as real estate agents. You put a property under contract and you are selling the contract. That is it. If you follow those rules, you are not breaking any laws, any regulations. Make sure you check with your local state laws and make sure you're following it correctly. It's very, very easy to look up. And for the majority, guys, wholesaling is legal throughout the entire United States. There's a couple limited states that have ridiculous rules, and you just got to figure out how to navigate around them. If you look at our live stream yesterday on Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, I believe you can look it up on YouTube, Flip with Rick, and we go through the states that are problematic, Illinois, and I believe Oklahoma, but we show you ways on how to work around it. And by the way, guys, if you're watching this first time, unless you want to be a real estate agent, don't go out and get your license unless it's an absolute requirement and you read the statute on it, because you're wasting your time and money. Unless you want to train to be a realtor, because that's all they're going to train you to do and charge you a bunch of money for it. Okay. Cash buyers only care about one thing. It's just making money. They are mostly not emotional about the deals, and the numbers are important. You have to understand that in wholesaling. Realtors sell on emotion. We sell on logic and numbers. Okay. That's why realtors dominate the market. We are all about numbers. We have no emotional attachment, and your buyer's going to have, your cash buyer typically is not, he or she's going to come up with a number and either it works or they're going to walk. You can't make them take the deal. So you got to make sure you're buying the properties at a discount to make them work. Otherwise, you're going to be in realtor mode. Okay. Guys, right now in 2022, we're already deep into the year and past the first quarter. There has never been a better time to wholesaling ever, in my opinion. The technology is amazing. Information's at your fingertips. For the first time in history, you can actually learn how to wholesaling and not pay a $5,000 or $10,000 fee. And if you guys don't think I'm qualified, then I guess you can wait another 20 years and I have 40 years under my belt. Then I can teach you. I'm here to tell you, I've been through every type of market. I've taught a 16-year-old kid how to do this while in high school and make $100,000. And I can teach anyone to do this. The biggest problem you guys have is you just have to take the action. It's not about you paying a guru. I've already removed that from you. You have to take action. And you guys know, if I'm talking to you and you're watching the stream and you're always talking about it, you're not doing it, I'm talking to you. The only difference between you and me is I took action, I took risk, and I got rewarded for it. I'm here to tell you guys, I know the ending to all our stories. We are not getting out of here alive. The day you were born, your risk was taken. Okay. So embrace the risk, have fun with it, and make sure everybody along your journey, your family, your friends, gets the benefit from your actions. Okay. I was ridiculed and torn up when I got into wholesaling because I left a good, safe paying job. And I'm here to tell you, man, there's nothing safe about a job. You are just moments away from getting fired. Inflation's eating you guys up alive, and they are just keeping you to that time clock. You are fulfilling their dreams. They're not fulfilling yours. So, guys, this is the time. And by the way, I didn't quit my job when I got into wholesaling. I made sure I set enough money aside. Remember, I had a mortgage. I had 2 young kids. I had diapers, a whole 9 yards. Um, I was scared. You know exactly what I'm about to say. I was scared beyond my wild, but you know what? You know what got me through it? Everyone's like, Rick, well, how'd you get through it? I was scared to stay exactly where I was because I was completely miserable and I was complaining every night about it. And to me, it couldn't be any worse than that. Guys, you can always go back to your old job. I promise you. It's so easy to get a job these days, but you can never get your dreams back. You can't get your time back. And guys, if you have young ones around you, they want to be around you. So make the investment and get free financially and time wise. Okay. Here's a warning on this one. Ready? There's a lot of fake buyers out there. You've got to vet them. Okay. Everyone tells you they're a cash buyer. Most people have no idea what a real cash buyer is. Just because they say a cash buyer doesn't mean they're a cash buyer. They've just been taught and phrased this coin. This is mostly propagated by gurus that charge for courses. I'm here to tell you, just because they say they're a cash buyer, do not take their word for it. Remember, on this side of the equation, you are not selling. You are qualifying very quickly because you're not emotionally attached to any of it. Okay, let me put my mug back in here. So make sure you vet your buyers. It's simply by calling them, asking them for a proof of funds, and find out what areas they buy in. Okay. So how do we find the cash buyers? One of my favorite ways, just cold calling off for rent signs. Typically, landlords put up for rent signs. They're one of the easiest ways to collect huge lists of cash buyers. Not, I wouldn't even say huge, but they're local in that area. So if you're doing it virtual, if you can find a lot of these things for rent signs off of online these days. Facebook groups, we talked about this earlier. Guys, go to freewholesaling.com. We teach you how to do this in grave detail. And this is why me and Zach created this course. I say the word course. It's a free course, guys. There's no charge for it. Me and Zach are the only people completely transparent on the internet where we just give everything away because we want to help people out as much as possible. And I hate using the word value because everybody thinks there's a dollar sign attached to it. Pay me $5,000, I'll give you value. I know my value is through the roof because I don't even take money from you. I just take your time. And in return, I teach you how to get started in wholesaling. So Facebook groups, very, very, very popular. So if I'm in Knoxville, I'm going to join the Knoxville group and I'm going to search for cash buyers, landlords, anything like that. And most of them put their email in there. You can copy and paste. And you can reverse engineer their phone number. How do I find their phone number? Guys, you can go to People Finders. You can use Spokio. You can use, I think it's White Pages. There's so many free services to do. Okay. The other one we often overlook is your local RIA groups, guys. And a RIA is just an acronym for Real Estate Investors Association. Now, let me give you a couple warnings on it. I ran a RIA group for 7 years in my local market. I love the human interaction of it, but I'm here to tell you, there are predators there waiting to find newbies to take advantage of them, either through course sales. If any type of group leader wants you to put you on a bus tour, run. If you're a wholesaler, you don't need to get on a bus and go to Home Depot and learn how to buy kitchen sinks. That has nothing to do with wholesaling. That's like an A&E show, and you can go over there and you can look at all that fake stuff because it's 100% fake. You have no verification of numbers, HUDs, or anything. I'm sure they're buying some of the properties, but guys, it's for drama and TV show. And typically it's about the relationships of the people involved in it. So I'm a wholesaler by nature. I would love to do a TV show. I've been approached 3 times in my life to do a TV show. If you want to do a TV show on wholesaling, I'm all in. Call me up, send me an email. I will do it. Support@flipwithrick.com. But don't tell me who I need to hire, what kind of drama I need to bring into it. I'm not into that stuff. You guys go to Netflix, you can go to A&E, you can go to Bravo for that. I don't do that stuff. It's fake. Like, I don't need fake followers. I just don't. That doesn't help my wholesaling business at all, and it won't help anybody out here. So at your RIAs, just be like a fly on the wall, listen to everybody, but just be very careful someone approaches you. And don't buy anything, especially when you're new at a RIA. Do not partner up with someone you don't know. Make sure you vet these people. Okay. But it is a wonderful place to find cash buyers. Okay. Title companies. Guys, you guys all overlook this. I'm here to tell you, title companies have the greatest cash buyers list in the world. They know who's closing on cash deals on a consistent basis. Do not overlook them, guys. They are absolutely wonderful. Real estate auctions. Typically, they're going to run on Saturdays in your area. And it's a lot of fun going to them. I still enjoy going to real estate auctions. Just there's like an energy in the room. But the really cool thing is they're all there with a paddle. They're all cash buyers. They all are trying to outbid each other. They're one of my favorite types of cash buyers. Someone's got to go and just collect as many business cards or I don't know. These digital cards are where you just tap the phone up there. It's pretty cool. What else I got on there? And guys, realtors, don't overlook realtors. The realtors that work with cash buyers for your virtual market, dynamite. You go, well, Rick, I got to pay a realtor. Keep in mind, the realtor typically, they're making you so much more money, it's well worth it. And remember, they already vet your cash buyer and they're not going to waste their time. So they do the vetting and they typically pay you more. It's a huge win-win situation. So we talk about controlling your cash buyers, okay? Remember, you only need one cash buyer. You are not a realtor. You are not obligated to make every cash buyer happy. And if you have a good deal and say you got 10 quality cash buyers lined up and 2 take action and they go out and look at it that day with you and they've already reviewed the comps, they've looked at your offer price and they're like, hey, that's good to go, then those are the people that get rewarded. The other 8 will cry and cry. And your job is to get those 2 that want the property. Who's more committed in paying for it? Because guys, we are not emotionally connected to these properties. So I like to get it down to 2 people and I go, listen, well, I'm already at the ask price. It's down between you and another person. Whoever makes me the best fair offer, it's going to be done and it'll be over in 10 minutes. And most people go for that. So it's kind of like the eBay price, buy here, buy now. People love that stuff. The other 8, be prepared. They will say things to you didn't even know could come out of like a female's mouth or a male's mouth. And take note because those people get like really nasty. But remember, so many of you guys feel guilty. Like your job's number 1 is to fulfill your business, which is to get financially free and free up your time. And how do you do that? By solving as many problems as possible. The only problem you need to solve is to sell us to the highest cash buyer with the least amount of headache. Everything else, don't worry about it. Like a duck with water rolling off your back. I'm here to tell you, cash buyers, they will manipulate you. They will lie to you. They will do all sorts of tricks. They'll go behind your back. You cannot trust them, even if you've done this before. Guys, this is a business, and I'm here to tell you, it is ruthless out there. So do not put your guard down with a cash buyer. I'm here to tell you, if you give them a tiny bit of opportunity, they will take advantage of you, okay? And remember, you want the cash buyer chasing you just like with the motivated seller, okay? Never chase a cash buyer. It will never, ever work. I'm telling you, they've got to really want the deal and kind of run you over to get it. So, and this is the scarcity mindset. Listen, I only got one property. I got 2 or 3 that want it. I know I offered it for 150 grand. Just give me your best offer forward. And if it works, the property's yours. No more games. I don't do this like open bid forever. I get it done right there. I try to be fair about it. But remember, in the end of the day, my only responsibility is to my business, which takes care of my family and all the goals I want to accomplish. And if I've already helped out the seller, the buyer, just if that's the number that works, and that's the number that works. Okay, guys, we are close. We're getting done, I promise. And then we're going to get questions. So put in your questions there. If you guys want to get in queue to do a one-on-one live, I left Jeremiah hanging yesterday. I believe Monty. If you guys want to queue up now, I promise I'll take you, but it's a first come, first serve basis. Go to Wholesaling Houses for Real. to connect with us, let me see if I have where's the link for this? I am not the tech guy here. Zach usually does this stuff for me, but we will figure it out. Okay. Let me finish up the presentation here. So if you guys are on TikTok, you can go to Flip with Rick YouTube. I promise you it's all on there and it's recorded. So even if you flip over midstream. Okay. So here's questions you got to ask to every cash buyer. Okay. They must be okay with you making a killer assignment. What do I mean by that? Here's one of the really cool tips that you can take from this. Okay, guys, I see all your questions. I'm going to answer them like they're long, but we'll get them. Is if you ever have a cash buyer say, how much did you buy it for? Or better yet, hold on, I got to put my mug on here. Hey, Rick, I know you bought that property for 110,000. You're trying to sell it to me for 160. You're not going to make a bunch of money off me. I go, you're right, because you're not buying the property. Next. The minute they call you on what you bought it for, get rid of them. They're a nightmare. Okay. That's the equivalent of you going to say like Walmart and going to the register and say you're buying a toy for your kid and asking the register, how much did you pay for this toy? Because I don't want you to make too much money off of it. You don't do that. And you're going to treat them just like you do at Walmart or any other place. The minute they do that, get rid of them. They are always a nightmare. They never work out. I learned this in my first 2 years of business. Take this tip. If anybody ever has a problem with what you bought it for, just get them out of your life. They have a scarcity mindset. They're going to be poor their entire life, and they're probably a terrible, terrible cash buyer. Okay. So here's another line you can use on them. Mr. Buyer, if I bought the property for $1 and I'm selling it to you for 110,000, would you care? And you say, no, like as long as they're getting it at a fair deal, that's all that counts. See, it takes a really shallow person to try to figure out what you bought it for to justify it. That's the person that thinks everything's fair in life and all the money has to be split up equally. We don't do that in wholesaling. So guys, make sure you do that. Number 2, they must follow your commands. I cannot repeat this enough to you. They have to be good little soldiers, he or she. The minute they get out of line with you or they flap their gums to you or they start giving you problems, get them out of your cash buyers list. Guys, you only need to deal with a select few people. It's the beauty of wholesaling. You get to pick and choose who you do business with. So the minute they start giving you lip or they're a problem, get them out of your entire system and don't ever let them look back on any future deals because it only gets worse. Okay. Make sure they understand the rules. They are not allowed to communicate with your seller when you walk them through the property. If they do, the deal's off and you will never, ever do business with them. I've had so many buyers try to do this to me. And to this date, they still try this little game. Let them know up front what the rules are and they're not allowed to do it. Also, when they go through the walkthrough, let them know they only got 10 minutes. Like, you are not a realtor. I'm not here to, we're just here. You're buying the contract and you're just confirming the asset. Okay. If you need a realtor, go over on that side of the street. I'm sure you can find a nice realtor. You're probably going to pay twice the price. Number 3, I can't stress this enough. They must 100% use your virtual title company. Okay. The minute you deviate on this, it's going to create massive problems for you. Ask me how I know this. I've deviated from it and I've wound up in a lawsuit over it. I've wound up like crazy people calling me from agencies. Guys, you have to stay in control. So if your control is you got 10 minutes to walk through the property, you can't talk to the seller, and you have to use my title company. If they break any of those 3, they are off your list. This is not negotiable. I'm here to tell you, I've been through hundreds of thousands of cash buyers. The minute they give you lip, move on because they're only going to get worse. Remember, they're showing you their best side. Let me get this off of here. Oops. Okay. And then everyone asks, hey, Rick, how much of a non-refundable deposit? I always ask for $5K. I don't even care if the property is 20 grand. Okay. Ask for $5K. If you want to knock it down further, that's up to you. But the idea is, remember, they want to buy the property for cash, usually within 10 to 14 days. So if you're selling a $100,000 property, a $5K deposit, who cares? Because they got to come up with another $95,000. If they struggle with the deposit, heed the warning. Okay. It means they're going to be difficult. I don't care about deposits when I'm buying from other wholesalers because I assume I'm getting clear title on it. I'm getting a title policy. Who cares? When you guys start collecting $500 and $1,000 deposits, people will walk away from you because to them, it's not a lot of money. So set a number and don't negotiate it from it. Okay. If 5,000, if you're in a small market and they're $40,000 to $50,000 houses, I honestly, I would never do anything less than 5%. Like just, that's a standard rule. What's the difference if you leave me 3,000 versus 5,000? It's $2,000, right? I know you're going to say that. So the idea is the larger deposit, the more committed your buyer is, and they will not walk away from it. Okay. They only get one walkthrough. Okay. You are not a realtor. You are not a realtor. Let me repeat this. They do not get a final walkthrough at the closing day. They can drive by the property. They cannot knock on the door. They can't do anything. If they do it, they lose their deposit and they forfeit it. Okay. You've got to make sure you're training them to buy an assignment of contract. They're buying your contract. They are not getting traditional realtor treatment. Okay. So many people come to us and they'll go, well, I need to go through the final walkthrough on the property. No, you don't. You walk through it once. Make sure you communicate to them. It makes a huge difference. Okay. So we're going to go through the different tiers of cash buyers. Okay. These are the types of buyers that you are targeting to buy your assignment of contract. Remember, you're selling the contract. And I'm going to do them from the least desirable to my favorite. And I'm going to go through this quickly so I can get the questions. Big time landlords, what I call slumlords, 50 houses plus a year. They typically pay the least, but they do close very fast. Okay. Your high level flipper, somebody does 20 plus flips a year. I find them to be a complete nightmare. I avoid this type of buyer because they think they know it all. They think they're a wholesaler, but they have no idea how to do it. And the reality is they're glorified speculators. Avoid them at all costs unless they pay your price. Remember, you only need one good cash buyer. The next one, medium flippers, 5 to 10 deals a year. If you catch them at the right time, you will get a good deal. They're a little bit more flexible. The ones that'll work with realtors, I work with them much easier because I get much less drama and they typically pay more. Now, these last two are the ones I absolutely love. The mom and pop flippers, the person who does all the work on the property all by themselves, and they're doing it for their kid or their family member, and the dad just loves to work on houses. They get tired of chasing stuff on MLS, and they are probably my favorite buyers. My son, Zach, his favorite type of buyer is the person that just went to I'm not going to say it. I promised I wouldn't say it. I'm not going to say it. They went to a recent seminar with the initials. I'm not even doing the initials. This seminar has been out there forever. They go into every major town. I think it's a $30,000 to $50,000 premium. They teach you how to flip real estate. And they teach you to go find wholesalers like me, and they pay the most. They overpay for everything. They have no idea. They're super excited. I actually feel bad for these people, but I'm here to tell you, if they're going to pay your price, move on. It's a business. And if they think they paid $30,000 to skip, when they actually click on the freewholesaling.com to learn how to do this business, let them pay the price. It's their problem. I'm going to make every guru who pays, who keeps selling these ridiculous, outdated 20-year courses, make them all pay for it. Okay. So when building a cash buyer list, we're almost done, I promise. Okay. It's quality over quantity. I don't care how big your cash buyers list. If you tell me how big your cash buyers list, I'm going to ask you, how good is it? Okay. All you guys need, if you had 5 amazing cash buyers over 3,000 crappy buyers, I'll take the guy with 5. I could do 5 right now on this phone, on this live with you. Okay. That 3,000 just makes you feel good. It's your ego. Bury your ego. It's not going to help you sell properties. I promise you. You guys' comments are funny. So quality over quantity. Okay. The easiest way to reverse hack form, Facebook groups, guys, I've been over this so many times. Go to Big Wholesaling Cash Buyer Facebook groups, make a post in there just like this. I'm going to leave it up for you. Title, House at a Deep Discount. If you're looking to buy in the Port St. Lucie market or whatever market you're in, and if you're looking to buy off-market properties, 30 to 40% off value, make big profits. drop me a PM or a DM, drop your email. I'll send you some of these deals. Now, is it misleading? Yeah, especially if you haven't done a deal, but remember, you're just collecting stuff. Most of these people that will post to this, they have no money because their guru taught them to like, hey, these guys will sell properties pennies on the dollar. I'm here to tell you, your next step is you're going to have to vet them. So, guys, here's the assignment of contract. Without me going in the grave detail, if you go to freewholesaling.com, we do an entire video and walk you through on how to do this. This assignment of contract is what gives you the right to sell your properties. Okay? So you have a purchase and sales agreement, also known as a PSA, with your seller. And then the assignment of contract is your agreement with your new in-cash buyer to basically take your position and pay you a fee for it. Okay. If you go to freewholesaling.com, we go through in grave detail with you. And I beg you guys to work with your virtual title companies to help you fill out these contracts correctly. And when you get a really good relationship with your title company, they'll actually help you do this. Don't ask them to do it for you. Just ask for help. Because remember, they got to do title in the end. Okay. It's only a 2-page agreement. It spells out, I put in every pitfall in there that sellers try to do to you when they, there's pain in there if they contact the seller. There's pain in there if they don't show up to the closing. And it says if you get a future discount on the property, you are entitled to it, not your new buyer. So guys, go to freewholesaling.com, use the assignment of contract. It works. I've been using this thing 20 years. I add to it every year whenever we have an issue with it, and it will save you a lot of headache. Okay. So now you want to take that assignment and you want to send it over to your title company, just like you do the original contract. Okay. And then here's what we call the dead time rules. Okay. So this is where you're at risk as a wholesaler. So now you have a contract with the seller. Now you have a contract with your new buyer. A lot of you go, hey, I'm just going to go out and go poolside and sip some margaritas and call it a day. I'm here to tell you, you can be at risk for this. So we call this the dead time. Make sure you're contacting your cash buyer once a week. Okay. So if you gave them a 2 or 3 week window, depending on what your contract is, make sure you are connecting with them once a week. Make sure your title company is connecting with them as well. Okay. Also, when you get closer to closing, you need to call your seller at least twice a week. I know it sounds painful, but remember, they're being marketed by other wholesalers, by other realtors. You got to make sure they come to the closing table. Remember, you have a contract. You still got to get them to go to the dance. So it's like when you ask the girl to the dance, you still got to go in a car, pick her up, and bring her to the dance. No, you're not going to pick them up for the title for the closing, but you got to make sure they show up there. Okay. And then you want to confirm and work with your title company if there's any issues and it's clear. In my experience, the title companies usually tell you like right away. Okay. And guys, that's it. This exact process, you get your check and you repeat it. If you do this process, it will save you tons and tons of drama and like deals that fall apart. So I kind of went through it quick, but that was an hour. But guys, this is recorded. You can go back, you can freeze the screen, you can do whatever you want with it. And guys, if you didn't see the presentation, go to YouTube on Flip with Rick. It's all there. I believe it's on Zach's channel and my channel as well too. So let me get this off of here and let's see what we got going on here. So this is the portion where we do Q&A. So let me give you guys a little bit of value on this. So if you're already on there, I promise you I'll go through you. If you have a deal you're working on and you're stuck and you want some help, that's great. Okay. Asking me just to do comps is not going to help you in wholesaling. I'm just like, you're asking me to do kind of realtors work at that point. And I mean, I guess I'll do it, but it's just, it's a comp and I'm not going to have any more information than you are. Okay. Number 2, think long-term when you talk to me and Zach. Okay. That's how you get value from anybody that you want to get any type of mentorship or value. Think long-term. If you're struggling right now and you can't get a deal, I promise you it's something you're doing and it's a habit you have to change. And if you can step back and realize it and let your ego go, amazing things can happen. Okay. Number 3, if you come on here and just complain, I can't help you. There's nothing I can do. Maybe you can see a shrink, maybe do something else, but complaining is not going to help it. So here's a little tip for everyone. I've learned this from someone extremely, extremely high up. Okay. The human brain, this thing right here, is wired just for survival. That's what we're here for. It's to avoid any type of pain and keep you alive as long as possible. Thank God, right? Okay. The problem is it's better at finding problems than it is solutions. So a quick hack to figure this out. I'm not taking credit for this. This is actually, I believe, from your Berkshire boy Munger, is find all the all the negative stuff and just get it out of the way. And so, like, if you decided, like, how do I not do a real estate deal? Okay, well, I watch Netflix for 4 hours. I'll never make a phone call. Make a list of all the stuff you can't do. Eventually, you're going to run out of things, and you're going to be forced to do the things that will actually get you a deal. Our brain is really good at finding problems. It's not as good at finding solutions. So if you reverse engineer anything, it actually works. I've tried it out. As crazy as it sounds, that's how your brain's wired. Give it a shot. I'm telling you, some interesting things will happen when you do it. So, what's up, guys? Oh my God, I'm way behind on the comments. So, issue more opportunity. Okay. So, if you guys have a comment, put it in here, and I'm going to bounce around between the lives. And let's go. Hey, Jeremiah, if you're around, I told you I'd be here. I put you on first, but I don't see you. So I got to get you in line. So what I'm going to do is pull you up and just make sure you unmute your microphone. So Aurelius, you there? You're on mute there. I know I'm probably butchering your name, but let me know if you can hear me. I got you up right now. Aurelius, going once, twice, three. Guys, if you get on these things, I'll wait you back in line to see if you come back. You got to kind of be ready, because I'm getting everyone going, and I try to take the people that take action here. Okay, I'm coming up on the next one here. Eric says, can you wholesale commercial properties? Absolutely, just a little bit different paperwork. The exact same techniques, though, is just usually add a 0 or 2 onto it. Awesome. What's up, Olivia? She's here all the time. She takes advantage of this. What's up, Carl? It's on Patreon. Yeah, you can use it. Like, land, you got to understand, land is just another element of what the property's on. So absolutely, you can find contracts that are just customized to land, but for the most part, I don't try to complicate this business. Just use the contracts you're already using. That'll work. So, okay, Will, I'm bringing you on. Will, you there?
Yep. Mic check 1 2.
Check. Mic check 3 4.
What's
look
going
at
on,
Jeremiah.
Rick?
Now he's driving in a car, doing all
Nah,
that.
nah,
I'll get
nah.
to you,
I'm
man.
actually technically I'm on the clock right now at work,
Uh-oh.
trying to learn about wholesaling because I'm trying to get away from this place, right? But
Okay, well, don't tell us where you work or anything. I don't want to get you in trouble.
oh, of
So
course.
what area are you in?
I'm in the DFW area, and I'm in the group like you mentioned, real estate or wholesaling for real.
Okay.
And I just been trying to keep up with you guys these last 3 days. I just want to thank you and your son, for just, you know what I'm saying, paving the way for people like us, because a lot of people, you know, they give false information and things like that. So it's really cool to, you know, understand what you guys understand. But my question really is, when I am on these groups, right, and say someone sends me an email with properties, so I potentially should go through my comps first, and then from there, I've actually reached out to a couple cash buyers, right? There's one that gave me his business card. I'm on text message basis with him.
Okay.
And like, I wonder, like, how do you really, because you went through the tiers of sellers, right? You went through it pretty swiftly, but how do you even ask them really what tier they're in? You know what I'm saying? How do you go about that conversation?
So if you go to freewholesaling.com, there's an entire section on there on how to vet your cash buyers. And I also did 2 videos in the YouTube Flip with Rick group. Just search them in there. And I give you word for word what to ask them. Here's the thing is, you guys, we're so used to catering into our sellers, and you have to. Like, that's where you put on your best foot. I'm telling you, when it comes to sellers, it's all business, man. I do not waste time with sellers. If you cannot answer the questions, I'm getting off the phone with you,
Right.
because I've got plenty of friends. I don't want to sit here and have a free conversation with you, and I'm not getting paid to do it. So you always do the questions in order of importance. What do you think the most important question to your cash buyer is? Your first, past an initial hello, how you doing? What do you think the
Uh,
number one obstacle you have to overcome with a cash buyer is?
like how much they're willing to pay for the property?
Do you have cash?
Oh, do you have cash?
Now, they'll all answer this yes, 100% of the time. Everyone's got cash. Like, it's a crappy question, right?
Right.
Anybody can have like a quarter on them. That qualifies you for cash. So simple. I just need a proof of funds. Can you just give me a quick screenshot of it? Or if you want, just fax over the first page of your most recent statement in the last 30 days and send it this email. By the way, 80% of my cash buyers never get past that question. You know why? Because they ain't cash buyers. They're all like, we've been taught in this business, we all lie. We fake it till we make it. And listen, I credit the hustle, but like when the hustle comes to me selling, I don't have time. I don't want to waste my time. I don't sell properties to other wholesalers. Let's just respect each other's time. The minute they tell you this, and here's how you know they're lying to you. They're going to go on a 5-minute monologue. Just go, listen, have a great day. If you get the POF, give me a holler back and move on. They will lie to you all day long. I have somebody in my company that their entire job is just vetting cash buyers, because it's so important to us, because they all waste your time. The worst thing you do is you get under contract, you find out they don't have any money, and they always have an excuse. Oh, I wired it. Oh, I dropped the check off. Oh, it's like, dude, like you don't have time for that. You
Stop the
work your
cap.
butt off to get that motivated seller. Do not let that cash buyer like jerk you around. So it's all business when it comes to the cash buyer. You have to be. And guys, here's a huge tip. I made a huge mistake. I love talking to people. Do not become friends with your cash buyers. It will blow up in your face. I promise you. I had a guy buy like 40 properties off me during my prime when I was doing this all by myself. And they just kept beating me down on price, and like, a friend, I'm going to take you fishing. And then we started bartering, and I didn't even know it. Like, he
Wow.
would take me fishing and knock $5,000 off the price. I
Excuse
can
me?
tell you, I can go get a fishing trip for less than $5,000. I can do it for, I can go fish from the shoreline for free. I just do not barter your stuff. Make sure they answer the questions. Go to freewholesaling.com or to the YouTube channel, and I tell you exactly what to say. You are an order taker when it comes to cash buyers. Like, honestly, just, hey, do you have any money? Send me a proof of funds. I don't want to hear your story. You have to guard the gate, because they run you over. And when they're giving you excuses, wait till you get to the closing, because it'll be 10 times worse. Then you're going to go over what you're offering the price for, make sure like their numbers match. And then they can mull it over, and then you can reach back out to them. That's it. You want to get in and out, try to have a 3 to 4 minute conversation and keep it business. Probably the biggest mistake is I felt bad for cash buyers, and I became friends with them. And I don't do it anymore. I will not deal with cash. I keep a distance from them. And Zach is extremely militant with cash buyers. He's like, he just runs them over right away. You have to. Guys, I'm telling you, the cash buyers, that should be the easiest part of your job. So do not take their word for it. Verify everything and move on. And I'm just here to tell you, if you stick to a strict discipline, you'll be fine. You have to be very flexible with the buyer, with the sellers. That's the one thing you have to work with. When it comes to the buyers, that's it. I got to get taken care of, because I want to get out of this terrible job I'm in. And the only way I can do that is, I got one deal right now. I have the potential to make 20, 25 grand. You're not taking $5,000 out of my kid's mouth. And that's how you have to look at it. And once I realized that switch, I made probably an extra 300 or 400 grand every year since then, minimum. I was just a nice guy. And by the way, be honest with yourself. If you're a nice guy, like, I'm a nice guy until you burn me, then you don't want to be around me. But if you're a nice guy, guard the gate. Don't let them in. So nice guys work really well with motivated sellers. You guys, that's how I do so well. I connect with everyone. I found out me being a nice guy with cash buyers was my Achilles tendon. It was a nightmare. And what I did is I hired someone to vet the cash buyers and deal with the final paperwork. And I only paid them like $1,500 a month. And I made like 10 times the amount of money on my deals. I'm
Hey,
just
can
a
I
nice guy. So if
one
you
more
admit
question?
what your downfalls are, you can work on it. If you're going to constantly be nice to everyone, it worked really well with the buyers, but with the sellers, like cash buyers, they're brutal, man. Like they will run you over. Like they will treat you like you work for them. I have cash buyers all the time when they go like this. They go, Rick, I saw we had this the other day. He goes, you only paid 130 for the property, 130,000. You want to sell it to me for 240? That's right. 100%. Is there a problem with that? Well, I don't think that's fair. I go, well, don't worry. You're off the list. You're not available for the property. Next.
On to the
Move on.
next.
I'm not going to sit here and defend on like, you weren't around when I had to write a big fat marketing check. You weren't around when I took thousands of phone calls to try to get that deal. So does that help you out a little bit with it? It's just, you've got to be brutal with cash buyers. It doesn't give you a permission slip to be nasty.
Right.
Just they're not paying you for your time. Okay. And so when I get my cash buyers, you don't need 3,000 people in it. You just need 4 or 5 quality cash buyers. If you can get it down to 2 cash buyers that are following the rules and just say, listen, John, here's the deal. I offer the property at 150. I got 2 offers right at 150. Give me your best and highest offer, and I'll give you a decision in the next 30 minutes. Sound fair? That's it. I'm not in like, oh, he offered 152. You want to go 153? Then you're going to become a realtor. And the extra $1,000 is not going to make that big of a difference in my life. Like I just want to move on. So
thank you so much.
You got
Makes
it, man.
A lot of sense.
Anything
Can I
else?
ask one more question?
Shoot.
So, all right. So from the process of me receiving the email, right, in which somebody has like a property in Atlanta right now, I'm looking at actually 3 properties in Atlanta. From that process to getting, you had showed us I believe it was assignment of contract. So from that, and I'm sure someone already potentially has it on contract, from that to finding a cash buyer, it's still kind of blurry for me, I guess.
So here's what I'm going to tell you is you told me you're like 3 days into it. Spend time at freewholesaling.com. I'm not going to sell you anything. It's absolutely 100% free. Take the time, pretend you just wired me $10,000 and you're going knee deep in it. And I'm telling you, I answered 98% of your questions. And then when you have questions, when you come on these one-on-ones, that's how you're going to get the most value. I give you all the credit for jumping on here and talking to me. And I'm trying to show everyone it's for real. I get people like, I just found wholesaling 5 minutes ago. What's it about? And that's why we created the course, because if I had to explain every detail, I could only probably talk to one person a day.
Completely understand.
I'll
get
do
out
that.
Yes, sir.
Go and dive into it, jump in and get involved with the lives. I've been doing this business so long, but honestly, I look at it through my son's eyes, and you got to understand, I was a desperate man when I went to wholesaling. I absolutely hated my job. So I worked for, I'll just tell you guys, I worked for Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Wow.
You know, they give you the tools to succeed. They moved me 9 times. I just started having kids, and I hated it, man. It was terrible. I was vacuuming cars in like suits, and I think they were paying me like $8-9 an hour, and I got like commissions, and I was good at selling, and that's how I made money. And I just got sick of climbing the corporate ladder. It was never going to end. It just sucked. Like,
it's funny, Rick, because I'm wearing a suit right now, ironically.
Yeah, no. But so I was in South Florida out in July and August because we never had enough staff. And I would actually have to vacuum a car, wash it in a suit, sell these people thousands of dollars of product. And then I would come in at 7 in the morning. I'd leave at 7:30 at night. 5.5 days a week. I did it for 12 years, by the way. And then I pushed people to do it. And like, honestly, it's really hard to sell stuff you don't believe in. So it's a good company, just fell apart in the end. And I was young. I didn't know what to do. But that's what my college education got me. It didn't help me out at all. So I just dove in. I figured this out. I paid a lot of gurus a lot of money. Most of them tried to rip me off. And So that's why I got a little bit of and I see people I've taught in this business being gurus. I'm just like, you just started like 2 years ago. Maybe you should dial it back and get a couple hundred deals under your belt. So I find nobody asks gurus any quality questions. Nobody knows if they're for real. Everyone's a superstar on the internet. Guys, I've been doing this 20 years. Okay. I love this business. For full disclosure, I was nervous about Zach getting in this business. So he worked at a local grocery store. He's like, I can't clean one more toilet, Dad. I'm never going to get ahead. I go, okay, well, let's talk about it. So I gave him a couple books to read and the rest is history. And I just told him, I go, you're never going to learn this stuff in college. So he still went to college, but he got it done in like 2 years. And the rest is history. So everybody comes from somewhere. I just want to get you to that, like the end zone. And I tell people like this, worst case scenario, even if you kept your job, if you could flip 1 or 2 deals a year, how much of a difference would it make in your life? It would make a tremendous difference. Right. Okay. Everybody told me I would fail at this. And when I brought home I got a $3,000 check of $5,000. And then when I did 10,000, I just looked at my wife. I go, I'm going to change the trajectory of our family. Cause we just come from like blue collar workers. We just work. Like, my dad's 86 right now. He still works. I love him to death, but like, I don't want to take that path. Right. And I didn't find out till I was much later in life. So if you guys, I swear, if you're in your 20s, I don't even hear like you have the golden opportunity. It's so amazing what you can do in life. If you're in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, I don't care. So it doesn't matter where you came from. It's a matter where you're going. So go to freewholesaling.com. I promise you I'll answer most of your stuff.
I will.
Jump back on next week.
Thank you so much. We'll take me off the stage. God bless you.
You got it, man. Okay, man. Okay. I lost some. Okay. Monty, I'm going to pull you on because you were patient and you beat Jeremiah on here. So let me see if I have any other questions. So Ashley says, Fridays with Rick. I noticed you guys have been exposing these gurus and they have been posting much. Guys, listen, I'm not here to expose gurus. Okay. Like I don't even want it to be my job. I want to put them in the rear view and move on. My problem is they're teaching this business the same way I learned it 20 years ago. Okay. And the funny thing is when I got started, like you had to go through these complicated, you actually had to go in person, learn it. It was much more in it. And I paid $10,000 to $20,000. That was a lot of money back then. Okay. And I'm going to be honest, most of it was all smoke and mirrors. Like you figured it out quick. Fast forward to today, there's so many gurus. I've got courses as low as $500 up to like 5,000, and they're all pricing each other out of the market. I've never seen anything. Don't you think these courses would go up if the value's there? There's no value there, guys. I'm telling you, if you want to learn wholesaling, go to freewholesaling.com. We'll teach you for free. So, Monty, you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Patient. Okay, I know you've spent some time with my son. I don't think you and me have ever talked, have we?
Nah, we ain't talked yet.
Okay, well let's get into it. What can I help you out with?
I really got questions. Like, I mean, I just started, but I've been just watching and stuff a lot. But I haven't got no deals yet or anything. I'm in Ohio, like around the Dayton. I'm like 30 minutes away from Dayton. I'm in Springfield.
Okay.
But I was like, boom, when I pull my leads, like boom, get on PropStream, put in my filters, and then come to get my leads. Is it a better way for me to, like, even if I gotta pay a little bit of money, like, is it a better way for me to from pulling my list to calling them? Like, cause and plus I really don't even know how to pull the list. I'm just putting in the filters and then going down the property, and it's my city, so I know where what houses I should be, like what neighborhood. So I'm just thinking, all right, I'm gonna go in this neighborhood, pull these, and just cold calling. You feel? I don't got a problem with cold calling. I do that all day long. Okay. But it's time consuming, and I feel like I'm not getting no progress. I'm using TruePeopleSearch.com. So I mean, I gotta call 5 numbers before I talk to one person. So I'm just trying to see if it's.
So how long you been doing this business for?
Like I said, like I talked to Zach like 2 days ago, but
okay.
But I just moved back to my city like the first. I just moved back into my house, and so
Okay.
I just now dedicated myself to it. Since I've come down here, I said when I come back, I'm gonna dedicate myself to doing this. You feel me?
Okay.
But
So
not tomorrow.
so right now you're pulling lists, correct? And you're cold calling them?
All right.
Okay. What kind of lists are you pulling right now?
I've been pulling Zach's high equity
Okay.
lists. That's the one I've been pulling in my city because he told me to stay around like houses. It's been like the house is like 50,000, 50, 60, 70,000. So I've
Yeah.
been looking in that range. But
So the high equity list is just like it's kind of a staple. Like we do really well in Florida here, and we're in a ridiculously like competitive market. The only difference is we consistently do the same thing. It's so boring. It's I get people go, "Hey Rick, I want to spend the day with you." I go, "Honestly, you're going to fall asleep if you spend the day with me." It's not exciting. That people don't understand like wholesaling, like the everyday. It's boring. It's just the only difference is you're not working for somebody else, and it like keeps you like awake at night a little bit. So there's a trade-off with it. So
right.
you have got to find like your niche. So the high equity is fine. The filters, you got to play around with them. So like if what server do you use? PropStream, you use Batch, or what do you use?
Yeah, I got PropStream right now.
Okay, so I like PropStream. It's just the reason I like PropStream is just because I started out with them. So it's like I'm used to it. I'm familiar with Batch. It's got a lot more bells and whistles. And remember, this is a guy who used to use Core Logic. So on the high equity, when you pull up your filters, when you watch on the right-hand side, you'll see the number change. And what I want you to do is track it. And when you go down, because you get 10,000, you get 10,000 leads a month with that service, right?
No, what's that mean?
So with PropStream, if you stay on with them, I think it's $97 a month. You get 10,000 free leads with that, meaning you can pull a list up to 10,000 every 30 days. Okay. You aware of that?
So what are you on? What do you? Yeah, I am aware of that. But what do
Okay.
you mean, like technically, like pulling? That's like importing the list.
Correct. You get the list, and then if you want to skip trace it or do anything with it, you can do it from there. The reason I'm telling you this is like you're still like so new to the business. And what I want you to do is look at a way to attack the business and have a business approach to it. You've got to come up with a way. So you're comfortable cold calling. I get it. Like honestly,
Sure.
Most people can't handle it. I'm not a cold calling type of guy. Zach, dude, the guy used to cold call while we were at the dinner table. It's ridiculous. Like get off the phone. He could do it all day, all night. It just doesn't bother him. So I taught him early not to worry about what other people think. And he literally took it like literal. So you got to figure out how many leads a month you can process and come up with a marketing plan. And if you come up with a marketing plan, you are going to get consistency out of it because you're going to have to create disciplines. Let me ask you this. Do you have a car?
Yeah, I got a car.
Okay. Do you do driving for dollars at all?
Nah, I want to stay. I don't know. I just want to stay away from that. I rather because I just don't want to spend all day. I know my city. I don't want to spend all day riding around in my city when I can take time. You feel me? In my city on PropStream and even in Dayton on PropStream. You feel me? I feel like it'd be better.
Okay.
That way.
So just so you know, I got my first 7 deals from driving from dollars in Florida. So it's like I can't tell you what to do. You're just going to have to pick which one you're going to do. You should do a combination of cold calling and, in my opinion, driving for dollars. Driving for dollars is not sexy, and I know that. The reason I recommend it because it's a fast way to get a deal. Because if I have a list of 10,000 people and you go, you know what, I ain't got $97 to pay PropStream, I don't want to do it. You go get in your car and go in the Dayton area and take 3 hours and get a couple hundred addresses of properties that have issues. You are going to get to those people much faster than I'm ever going to get to. I have to go through 10,000. You know how long that takes me to go through? You can rip through 200 people in a day. And that's the difference between driving for dollars and someone who's going to harvest a list. If you can do a combo of the both, you can do some damage. The problem you're going to have is if you pull 10,000, you know what the cost is to skip trace those, correct? It's expensive. It's
like 10, 12 cents a lead.
it is. So I commend you for doing it manually,
All right.
but at some point you will have to throw in the towel and just try to run a batch. And you don't have to do 10,000, but maybe try to narrow your list down to 1,000, make the filter criteria much higher. So instead of 50% equity, maybe you do 65, 70, and you say, okay, I'll pay to skip trace 1,000 leads. That's all. But I need the best 1,000 leads I can ever get. And by the way, if you can get off-market properties like code violations, tax delinquencies, they're a pain in the butt to get, water shutoffs, any type of government list, those are going to be even better lists.
But the government lists are the free lists, right?
Well, they're free in money, but they're going to cost you a ton of time because you're going to have to like sit there and wait in line and go visit people. It's just a pain in the butt. Like remember this, guys, though, the tougher the list is, that means that you're going to have less competition.
Right, because nobody else got it, right?
Okay. Here's the key: when you do high equity and stuff like that, it's convenient and everyone's sitting in their comfortable house and they got, you got heat, you got air. So a lot of people are doing it. So the only way you can be successful with that is you have to be extremely consistency. The problem you're going to have is manually pulling skip trace. You're just going to run out of energy because it's exhausting.
Yeah.
And a lot of people go, well, I'll hire a VA to do it. Honestly, it's cheaper to pay for the like a batch skip tracing than hiring a VA.
Yeah, I mean, I don't got a problem with really doing the work myself. That's like VAs. I feel like that's just a waste of time because I have no problem working.
You got to get to your first deal. It ain't going to be pretty. Think about the first time like you drove a car or rode a bike. It probably wasn't pretty. And this ain't going to be pretty either. This is stuff they're not going to sell you in courses because it's the truth. It's just, you've got to get a deal and you got to prove your concept. Because the minute you get that first check, I guarantee your mind will complete. I know you're accepting it. And I know it can be done. But honestly, there's something different like when you do it. When you do it and accomplish it, like, you ever played a sporting event? Like, what's your sport?
I used to play football.
Okay. So defense, offense, which was it?
Defense.
Okay. So when you made that game-saving tackle or you pick somebody off or you hit somebody in the backfield, it's just like a feeling like you can't even replace money for it. And you've got to get that same feeling in wholesaling because, by the way, when I taught Zach wholesaling, he just looked at me like, you are crazy. You know what I had him do? I had him go out and do bandit signs. I gave him a script. He completely ignored the script, by the way. I can do that. And then he started getting phone calls. He's like, man, they're kicking the crap out of me. I go, well, then you need to practice. I told you need to practice. Just because you're my son, they're not going to sell to you. And I purposely would not teach him how to do it until he practiced. And we went through an entire process and we did the whole thing. But I'm just telling you, he didn't want to do bandit signs. I go, dude, I'm giving you the fastest way to get a deal in our town. I knew what would work. And I made him pay for his own bandit signs. He paid $200. He took the phone calls and he got his first 3 deals from doing it. He goes, I don't want to do that crap. I go, you don't have any money for cold calling. We're not going to do it. He goes, well, you'll pay for it. I go, I'm not going to pay for it. Honestly, I strongly believe that you just can't give your kids stuff. That's how you get spoiled, rotten babies. Okay.
No, he said he was out there 3 a.m. putting them bandit signs up.
He did, and his mother wasn't happy about it. But I was secretly proud of him. But like I was worried about him. But like it's part of this kid. Like you send your kid out on the football field, so whenever you have kids, you'll be like when Zach went out to wrestle, man. I knew it was the right thing for him, but I was worried as a parent. But remember, our goal, if you're ever going to have kids, is to get your kids to be happy and on their own, not living in your basement at 35. So we've got to take responsibility. You have to do the same thing. What I would do is I would take a step back and come up with a plan. Number one, that you can afford. I don't want to shove a marketing plan. So many of these gurus, you pay these courses and they go, well, you got to spend $5,000 a month in marketing. I go, well, I don't have that kind of money. I just gave you $5,000. You didn't pay me any. So come up with a budget of what you can afford to skip trace and pull. Understanding in PropStream, you get 10,000 lists to pull anyways. You can knock on doors. You can cold call them. You can do whatever you want. And if you can integrate driving for dollars, I'm just trying to give you the fastest way to get a deal done. The cool thing, Monty, is when you get some money in your pocket, then you can make some decisions to grow your business and not freak out. But in the beginning, you've got to race to get some of that cash in your bank account. you got to prove it to yourself, because you need the money, but you need the confidence as much as the money. And the confidence comes when you start like solving problems and getting deals done. And I'm here to tell you, do whatever you got to do to get that first deal that you're comfortable with. I'm never going to make you do something you don't like. I have people all the time, I'm horrified to cold call. Okay, well, that's it. You got to spend some money on mail. You're going to have to do reverse driving for dollars. You're going to have to go door knock. You got to figure it out. So the only person that really ever helped me out in real estate is they threw me in a car. This is a true story. Threw me in a car, gave me a list of 55 foreclosures, and told me, you're not getting back in that car till you knock on every door. I knocked on 46 doors to 47th. I actually got someone that wanted to talk to me and do a deal. I didn't know what to do. I got the information. I actually wound up doing the deal myself because the guy left me like high and dry. But I didn't want to knock on the doors. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I was scared to death. I felt it was way below me. Hell, I went to college. And you know what? People don't give a crap where you went to school. They don't care. They just want to know you'll help them out. So you got to ask yourself, what are you willing to do? So let me reverse engineer this. What is your why? Why are you doing wholesaling?
Because, I mean, I ain't going to say I just got to stop. I just got to start doing something else. You feel me? Because just the people.
You're going to need a stronger why in that. Like, I get it.
Yeah, I'm saying like I get money. That's what I'm saying. Like, I get money. I'm great off. I just need to, you feel me, focus something into something positive, just so, you feel me, for my kids, leave my kids, all type of stuff.
Okay. How old are you, Monty?
20.
Oh man, you're dude, let me tell you, I would do anything to trade shoes with you. Like, you guys, when you get older, you start looking back at life and go, man, I didn't wake up till I was 33. So you already get it. So if it takes you a few months to get it, I would step back, come up with a plan to attack your marketing. If you're already praying for PropStream, you got to utilize those 10,000 because you're already committed to basically $100. Maximize that and make it work. Then figure, if you want to add driving for dollars, what you can tolerate to pay for a batch skip tracing. Maybe it's only 1,000, and get those numbers and run through them, because you're not paying a cold caller, because you can do it. So you just have to figure out if you can afford to do the skip trace or not. Because the problem is, like, we used to do the manual way back before skip tracing wasn't popular. Then I paid $1.50. Ready for this? I had a 5,000 lead list. I had some money at the time, but I paid $1.50 for each skip trace. It was terrible. We got terrible results. So we've come a long way. So you guys, like 10, 12 cents, that's expensive. I'm here to tell you, man, you have no idea how expensive stuff can be. So you have all these tools. I think you're really good at talking to people. You got to connect with as many people as possible in as little time as possible. Cold calling is the best way. The part that sucks is the skip tracing. I agree with you, but I wouldn't do 10,000 skip trace. Maybe you do 500 or 1,000 at a time and try to get that first deal. And then whatever you make of your first deal, take half of it, set it aside towards your marketing budget. Guys, if you'll just create a 3-month marketing plan, remember, by month 2 or 3, it should pay for itself.
Right.
But you got to have a plan, because I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that. No, dude, sit down and go, okay, I'm a cold caller. I can connect with 500 people a day. I just got to figure out how to pay for the skip tracing and find out if PropStream's good for you. I'm not like, I like PropStream. You don't have to have it, but it is extremely convenient. You know how much you would have to pay people to pull that information? It's ridiculous.
Right. And I'm using my 7-day free trial, but I mean, I was definitely going to get PropStream right after this.
So here's, guys, so I'm going to give clarity on this little PropStream lesson. You get, if you pay after the trial service, $97 a month. Guys, I used to pay thousands and thousands of dollars for this service. I pay just like you guys do. I pay for that, and I pay for batch. Now I do a lot of markets, so I have to have multiple services. If I had to I'm not going to be put on the spot here, because these companies are handy. I don't have a buy-in to them. I don't run them. But they are big companies and they are reputable. So if you ever have a problem with customer service or like a transaction, I promise you they will take care of you. You get 10,000 leads a month, meaning you can harvest them out of there. You can use all their filters. Once you get that 10,000, you got to decide, am I going to mail to them? Am I going to send them a text and I'm going to cold call them, or am I going to go knock on the door? That's all you got to figure out. So figure out your plan and break it down to what you can tolerate and what you can afford. And now you have to execute. Execution is the biggest problem in wholesaling, because we sit here and talk about plans all day long. At the end of the day, you have to execute.
That's
Because
why
every
sorry to cut you off, but that's
yeah,
why I just wanted to start. Like, you feel me? Just like start my prop stream and really start pulling lists and start cold calling, just so you feel me, I can really start executing. You feel
I
me?
know,
And
but
start
I want you to get off with like the right plan. So like so you're familiar with football, like you probably had a bad coach or two. Everyone has one in their life. Like, coach,
sure.
what's the plan? Hey, just go out there and run around, have fun, guys. Like, coach, we're getting killed. It's like 52 zip. Coach,
Sure.
can we switch it up? Can we do a 3-4 instead of a 4-3? Do something. Like behind you got a lot of wall space there. Go get an inexpensive whiteboard, put it on there and start putting up goals and come up with a plan. And I'm just telling you, amazing things will happen with it. You just, Money, the biggest thing I can tell you, and I'm looking at 30,000 feet, but you just got to have a plan to start. You're so far ahead of the game, dude. Do it right. But like, don't spend too much time, because I did my first deal in 45 days. I'm going to be honest, I was clueless. I had no idea what I was doing. I just took action. And then I just learned as I went. This isn't like college and grade school where you're going to take 12 years to learn this. You're going to learn it in 30 to 90 days and make money while you do it. So you got it. Keep coming back, dude. I'm telling you, give me a plan. Like, so the 90-day challenge coming up, you're perfect for it. I'm giving you a head start on it. You got to have a plan. If I was going to coach you one-on-one, if you didn't have a plan, I'd say, we're not going to do this.
All right.
And remember, it's got to be your plan. If I give you my plan, you're going to hate it.
Right.
Because I'd have you driving all day long, and I know you don't want to do that. So if you're going to do it, work from your desk, just have a plan and an approach and get it. Okay?
All right.
Okay, bud. I'll talk to you. You got it.
Appreciate it.
Okay, man. Okay, now we're going to bring on, let's see here, the infamous Jeremiah. You there? I can't hear you. I lost him. Okay. Let's bring Corey on. Hey, Corey, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hey, yeah, man. How you doing, bud?
Doing good. How are you? I got a new microphone set up here. I just wanted to make sure you hear me okay.
I hear you, bud. What's going on, man?
I just wanted to talk to you about a deal. I just assigned it yesterday, and it was a kind of a first-time scenario on how I had to structure this deal. I just wanted to, talk to you about how I did everything and see if I kind of did everything in the correct way, and have you critique me a little bit here on how I worked this deal.
I got a pen ready. Go.
Okay, so this deal, it was like one of the first houses I ever seen whenever I decided to start wholesaling. And I never could get in contact with these people. Tried, calling any number I could find, sticky note, letters, everything. Couldn't find anything. And I got a little bit more creative one day and started, the owners of the house was deceased, so I knew I would have to deal with the heir. So I started, coming through some obituaries, looking up relatives' information. I was able to find a relative that had a property record that I was able to skip trace and get a number. And they got me in contact with the heir. So got in contact with the heir. She told me she wanted to sell. Very motivated. The property's behind on taxes, code violations, all of it. So got the property under contract. That was all fine. Got a great price on the deal. The property was going to have to go through, you may be familiar with it. It might be a Tennessee thing only, though. It had to go through a process called a monument of title. Are you familiar with that?
Say it again.
Monument of title. It's similar to a probate, but not a full-blown probate. It's basically the court just validates the will and gives the heir a right to be able to go file for a new deed in their name without opening a full-blown estate.
Okay.
So
so we call that so in Florida they have a similar one. It's called a summary of administration. Yeah. Same type of deal.
Yeah, same thing. So that had to be done. The seller couldn't afford to do that. So I told her, I said, well, what I'd be willing to do, if we can get an agreement together that gives me right to purchase the property, I will pay out of pocket for that expense and we will get it done. I have an attorney who could handle it. Be simple. Okay. So she agreed to that. The lawyer's working on everything right now. So I'm in a little bit of a dead time here where the lawyer, he's getting everything submitted to the court and just waiting to get everything back. So I was like, well, I'm going to go ahead and show this to a buyer. Sent it to one of my buyers. He came by there, looked at it. He wanted it. Bam. We signed yesterday, $20,000 assignment fee on that deal. So really good deal for me. And so we're kind of in some dead time here. The original purchase and sale agreement and the assignment is all, contingent upon all the legal proceedings going through as planned. And if they don't, then everything's just squashed. So the sellers go with that. The buyers go with that. We collected the deposit as a check, and we're just going to hold the check until we get the green light from the lawyer. And then I'm going to take the contracts and the deposit to the title company and submit it all at that point. And the reason why I said that was I told the buyer, I was like, if you want to go ahead and submit the check to me, I'll hold it with the contracts. That way, if something does happen and the deal just falls apart for legal reasons, I just have to give you the check back. We don't have to go to the title company and get a EMD release form and all that filled out. It'll be safe in my hands. So everything was good there. So, we're just kind of in some dead time right now. And he told me, he's like, I don't care if it takes 4 months. I'm getting a great deal at the price. And so we're just kind of waiting right now. And I kind of wondered if I structured that correctly, like, go ahead and get into signed up front before I had the green light from the lawyer and just kind of holding the check and having everything ready to go. So when that lawyer tells me, yeah, you're good, we can get the deed transferred, I take everything to title. And, the seller, she doesn't even have to file for a new deed. As soon as she gets those court documents back, the title company can use that to close.
Okay. A couple questions. It's your lawyer, right? I mean, you brought in the lawyer?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I hired him personally.
What's the estimated cost to get it done?
I already paid him. It was $1,000, but if he can't get it done, I will get, I'd say probably 70% of it refunded back to me.
That's pretty cheap. So,
yeah.
So to do the same thing we do in Florida. So most states, they have like an express like probate when it's the only asset they own. It's under like under 500,000, and they can quickly file paperwork to get it done. Did he give you a time frame?
He called me 2 days ago and told me they are running the deceased parents' names through a system to make sure that they didn't owe any money to the state for state provided health insurance and things like that. And if they don't, he said he will submit it to the court. It'll take them about 7 days and get it back. So from the time that I talked to him, he told me within about 2 weeks, he should have a yes or no answer. But I mean, it's pretty cut and dry because, he has the will. It clearly states in the will that the property was left to the heir. She's the only heir. I mean, it's just cut and dry. As long as there's no money owed to the state, it's a good to go. So that's what he's checking on right now.
Like Corey, you did it the right way.
Okay.
And the key is you bring in other people. I talked to a gentleman yesterday. He kind of made the mistake is he tried to do the paperwork for the seller, and that's a huge no. Like, because you can actually get in trouble, and you can.
I'm not a lawyer.
And judges hate it. They just don't like people practicing law. They hate when any seller represents themselves. They just hate it. They will go they'll read them 10 times. You sure you have the right for an attorney? And because it's a good old boy, good old girl system with the attorney.
Yeah.
I've done everything right. So I will tell you, your costs for it are like really cheap in Florida. It's about 3 times that cost now. It's ridiculous. There's a couple ways you can do it. I found paralegals that I can work with. Paralegals are the people that the lawyers give the paperwork to get it all organized and proofread it, make it right. Okay. If you don't have to attend court, sometimes you can hire a paralegal, but at $1,000, I wouldn't lose sleep over it. So I can pay a paralegal. It's about $400 in court cost, and then the paralegal usually wants $500 to $1,000. An attorney, we have to double everything.
Right.
And it works with that. The only thing I do with the saying is sometimes it depends. If the lawyer's like, if I have to go to court, I have to charge you for my time. And that's when the bill can get out of control. So here's what I tell the seller.
This was $1,000 cut and dry. Either I'll get it done or I won't,
When you present it to the seller, I go, listen, what I can do is I can get the lawyer, get you in touch with them. You always want to let them know I'm going to put you in contact with the lawyer, because the relationship technically has to be between the seller and the lawyer. It can't be you, even though because I've had lawyers, I give it to them. They're like, I can't give you that information. I'm like, really? I just sent you the client. Are you kidding me? They do the attorney confidentiality, whatever. But a lot of times I say to them, I go, I can go ahead and front the money for the lawyer. And then, listen, if I'm getting a smoking deal and I'm making a ton of money, I'm never going to ask them for the money back. But if I think there's any issues, like there's going to be error that comes up, I go, listen, I'll put up the initial deposit of it. I go, but if the bill goes over this, you're just going to have to reimburse me at closing. And
Okay.
I've had some $5,000-$7,000 bills, like on very small deals,
Mm.
and you got to be careful not to overcommit to them.
Yeah.
Leave the flexibility, and if you can surprise your seller and take care of it, say you made like 50 grand off of it, then knock yourself out. The other
Yeah.
part of it is you can also use this on a lever against your cash buyer. So as I taught, I don't feel I owe a cash buyer anything. But go,
Right.
listen, I was kind of thinking about it. When you were negotiating the deal, you just asked your cash buyer, go, listen, there's like some attorney fees with handling this. I think it's around $1,500. You okay with that? Because it's going to be on the HUD. They will say
Right.
yes just to get the deal from you. So
Okay.
offer it. You can always backpedal on it and not do it. I prefer to do
Yeah.
it with the new cash buyer. You might even be able to go back with them if you're comfortable for it. If the guy's giving you a good deal and he's giving you a hassle and he's going to hold tight, then that's fine too. So
Yeah.
the only reason I would never ever tell a cash buyer that I'm going to keep their check and not cash it. I always put the fear of God in them. I'm cashing it in like 2 minutes because I
Right.
don't want everyone to think they can float a check on them. If you're in good conscience and the deal didn't work back, say the guy, how much money did the guy give you for a deposit?
$3,000.
Yeah. So worst case scenario, you write them a check back for $3,000. Like
Right.
always deposit their check. That's the only thing I will tell you because you don't know if they
Okay.
void it or do something with it. You did it
Yeah.
fine. Sometimes you can pass the cost off as a reimbursement on the closing. Most sellers go, yeah, absolutely. And if you're making a ton of money and you want to cover, it's great. When you introduce it to your cash buyers, you're dealing with a deal like that, go, listen, there might be some legal fees. It might be like an extra $2,000. Are you okay with that?
Right.
Just ask for it because it just adds more money in your pocket, right?
Right. I did,
You got it.
kind of cover myself a little bit like that. I told the seller and we agreed, and it's a contingency wrote in the purchase and sale agreement. I told her, here's the cost to have the attorney do the monument of title. If in the chance that it has to go through full-blown probate, we're going to need a reduction off the price for X amount of dollars. And she agreed with that up front, and it's wrote in there as a contingency. So in the event that would happen, I know that I will technically be reimbursed that money because I already have my assignment set, and I know I could get a price reduction. And then y'all's assignment, I use the assignment contract. Any reduction is just an additional assignment to me. So I kind of use that to protect myself a little bit there as well. So
You got it. Just listen, whenever it comes like the legal cost, I always try to pass them off down the buck. So like, honestly, if the seller's giving me a real good deal and it's $1,000 attorney fees and they reimbursement, I just charge them exactly what they charge me. On the seller, if I paid $1,000, I always tell them it's a couple grand just to cover my butt. Cause to me, that's just extra profit. And if they agree to it, then why not get it? So just always ask. The worst they can do is say, they go, well, I'm not going to cover those costs. I'm like, an eager cash buyer will cover those costs. You'd be surprised how much they'll pay.
Yeah.
And by the way, you could actually make it part of the HUD and just go, listen, there's some legal fees in there. It's just part of the deal. And I know the seller doesn't want to pay for it. So part of my agreement is I said I would pay for the legal fees. Theoretically, if you put that in writing on your contract, they're obligated to pay that at the closing. But but you got to use like the gentleman's word. People don't like surprises at closing. So you can try to slip that in there. But as I said, I'm not here to make cash buyers happy. I'm sorry.
Yeah. See, this, and I agree with you as well. It's either the way I operate, it's either they want the deal on these terms or they don't. This, however, is a buyer that I have a really good relationship with. I could call him. He'll come look at a property with me. He'll tell me I want it for X, and I'll go to the seller and say I need it for Y, and I already know what I'm making before I even sign a purchase agreement. So we kind of just, made this deal easy for each other. I don't have to worry about him going behind me in the meantime.
But guys, Corey's experience, honestly, don't do that. Especially if you're starting out, because they will go behind your back. I've had them do it hundreds of times to me. I'm just telling you, and protect yourself, Corey, because the minute you think they're all good, those are the ones that get like real sneaky on it. But dude, let us know how it works out. Dude. So Corey's like, how long you been doing this now, Corey?
I got my first deal in January.
Okay. So
January this year.
Yeah. And how many deals he got under contract?
Total or counting the ones that haven't closed right now? I got
everything.
13. Counting the ones that haven't closed right now.
And Corey, how much did you pay me?
0.
Okay, guys. So I'm here to tell you, you just need to take action and you need to get good information. If you put those two together, it's amazing. You paying someone is not going to get you a quicker start. I don't care what they say. I'm telling you right now. I've spent a lot of time with a lot of the gurus, and they're very good people, but the world has changed. The way people are consuming information is completely different. Take advantage of it. So let me go, Corey. I'm going to try to help out a couple more people before you wrap
Yes,
up. But
sir.
you have an awesome weekend, man.
You too. Thanks. I
Okay,
appreciate
man.
it.
See ya.
See ya.
Okay, Jeremiah, you're on, man. Let's make it happen. Can you hear me? Jeremiah,
Here we go.
can you hear me?
Okay, man. You know I've been ready. Can you hear me?
You're choppy, man. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give this guy my personal cell phone number because I keep I can't connect with him. He's in a car today. Go ahead and try real quick. See if you got a question. If I can't hear you, I'm just gonna have to reconnect with you. Killing me. I'm gonna have to try it again, Jeremiah. Sorry. Okay, Montel, you there? You're in a car too, man. I think you're driving
Yeah.
home from work, man. What's going on?
What's going on? So I have a couple questions
Go
regarding
ahead.
probates actually.
That's my
So
favorite.
yeah, I figured. So I've been calling the probate list on my county's website, and so like I've been calling them, but like I don't really know how to talk to them. Um, I've been like when I call them, I address them by their first name. I don't know if that's a mistake or not.
Okay.
Is that bad?
So have you been to freewholesaling.com? Check out like the probates?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me give you a couple quick tips because I only got so much time here. Probates is a much different strategy. It's not like your power cold calling 500 people. Always think
Right.
of any type of call to a probate as you got to think of it as like a warm call. The hardest part is going to be the first 20 seconds. It's brutal.
Right.
It's like it's like approaching someone that you just don't want to have. You need to have that conversation with, but you're very uncomfortable. So think back when
Yeah.
you were a teenage boy and you're trying to get your first date. I don't care how you did it. It just took like courage to kind of talk to him because
Yeah.
so you've already accepted. Most likely you will get rejected, right?
Yes. I've
Okay, so
actually
you're
talked
okay
to
with
a
that,
couple
right?
people today.
So
Yeah.
you have to get through the first 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I got to tell you, man, there is no one better than my son to get through this first 20 seconds because probate's awkward. It's just, for the longest time, I refused to cold call probates because I thought it was kind of like, what's the word for it? I just thought it was kind of cruel. I'm like, man, you guys are
Yeah,
like brutal
it
with your
really
deal.
is. Like, I
But
don't know.
so that's why I never tell people to chase obituaries. Like if you've ever had somebody pass away in your family, the last thing you want is a phone call from a stranger to sell you something when something terrible happened to a family. So guys,
So
you obituary chasers down, other than information, please don't cold call them because there's this thing called morals. Okay. Number two, when you call them, you've got to make it not to just don't even get into the probate. I don't even get into it. Hey, I was just curious about the house on 123 AUS Street. Are you the owner? Yes, no. And like kind of go into it and just kind of ask them simple questions because if they're going to hang up onto you, they're going to do it in the first 20 seconds in my experience of probates. If you can survive the 20-second clock, I used to set a little clock. And if I could get through the first 30 seconds, and then I know they would hang up. If I get through the first minute, I could actually kind of get to know them. The problem is it's tough. You got to find a way to get to know them. And by you running them over, so either they avoid the probate completely or they smack you in the mouth with it. And this is where you have to be genuine and go, hey, for that reason, I don't call them. I go, yeah, I know your uncle died, but what are you guys doing with it? You're never going to get anywhere with that. So I still like mailing them a letter too, because it's simple and it's cheap. And a lot of the older people like to respond to mail. So don't forget about that either, because it's really cheap. But honestly, you have to survive the first 20, 30 seconds of that phone call. If you can get through that, but the problem is most people can't get through that. And if you can survive the first 30 seconds, you'll do just fine. Because a lot of times they'll go like this. I go, hey, we're looking to buy some houses in the area. I saw your house on 46th Street. Is that your house? And they're like, it's yes, no. And then they'll go, Who is this?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this is John. Who am I speaking with? Is this Judy? How'd you get this information?
Yeah.
Actually,
So
my partner drove by your house and we saw it's if you had an interest in selling it. At that point, they either hang up on you or they're going to go, my mom just died. And that's where most people just sit there with your mouth open and you got to go, man, I'm like, I'm super sorry. Is this a good time? Or like, do you want me to like pull back? Like, I'm going to
yeah.
say something very respectful because most telemarketers will run them over. I just had
Mm-hmm.
someone call me today. I'm like, hey, give me your number and I'll call you back later. Well, I can't do that. I'm like, well, what the hell am I getting? Like, he got to get through 3,000 calls and he has to get through it. Probate, you have to be extremely patient and you have to slow down.
Right.
And she goes,
Yeah.
listen, this really isn't a good time. Hey, Judy, what's the best time? I don't want to bother you. I just, I'm looking to buy a house in that area. I have some questions about the house. I didn't really know this about it. So I respect the family time. What's a good time to call back? She's like, call me back in a week. Make a note. Call him back in a week. Don't call him back every day. You just got to get through the first 30 seconds. Tip number 2 on probates. I don't even talk price till after 5 or 6 contacts.
Mm.
The
So you
minute
like
you
build
hit
up
them
a
with price,
relationship with
they're
them?
going to run. They're going to blow you off. So I'm
Yeah.
going to spend that time connecting with them, and then I'm going to qualify and see if there's going to be any type of motivation for the sell. Some people in probate,
Right.
they just want to keep the property in the family, and you got to get rid of those
Mm-hmm.
people as soon as you can. But you
Yeah.
can't just be nasty. Like, just get through it. I'm telling you, Montel, if you can survive the first 30 seconds of those calls, you'll do well. So if you
Yeah.
think like, okay, I just got to survive the first 30 seconds. So like any good advertiser, you got to work on your first 2 lines.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do what Zach does, which is pretty good, which is the freewholesaling.com, or you practice your spiel. Everyone adapts a little bit and just get through it. And that's once you do it, there's only a few things they can say to you. How'd you get this number? Do you know so-and-so just died? And you can't have that like, oh my God, I can't believe they just died because you're lying to them. Just go, yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I go, listen, I've had some experience with probate with our family. I do have some experience with it. Is this a good time I can talk to you right now? You have to get permission. You can't run somebody over in probate. They won't do business with you.
Yep.
So if I call 50 or 60 people, maybe 3 or 4 will actually talk to me, and I'm okay with it. The reason I do the cold calling, which we call warm calling, because realtors stepped the game up so much that they were
Mm-hmm.
listing properties and they were beating me to the letter. So for that reason, I do like when you reach out and skip trace them and cold call them. So 30 seconds, you got to find a way to survive that, because if you survive that and then you end it on a good note, nobody cares what you do in the middle.
Okay. So I have 3 quick questions.
Go ahead. Let's
So
go.
one, do you need to have an attorney to close a probate deal?
What state are you in?
Texas.
So this is the part where I tell you guys to work with a local title company, which is usually started associated with a real estate attorney, but reach out to a local title company and they will give you that answer for free.
Okay.
I don't want to give you bad information. I'm not really familiar with all Texas laws. I don't think you do, but I want you to get the exact answer. Don't trust what I say.
Right.
And that's a simple
Okay.
phone call on Monday. Just go, hey, I'm dealing with some probate. Do I need an attorney to close it, or you guys can handle it? And then find out if that's going to be your the title company you use for your wholesaling, and they'll help you out with that. Guys, a lot of the answers, they're just people you got to reach out to and get factual information. If you guys get it on the internet, it can create problems for you because you don't know if like they're qualified to answer the question. What's your next one?
Right. So when I'm pulling the list, how far do I go back? Because Zach said 30 days, but
Yeah.
I feel like that's a little bit too soon because like I feel like there's still mourning
I
at
don't know.
that point.
So I want you to understand this. Probates, by the time they file probate, they let time go by between that when the person passes away. I'm even
Okay.
telling you from personal experience. I just went through this with family. I'm here to tell you that people typically file probate 30 to 60 days after somebody passes away.
Okay. Wait, so
You
the
wait too
heirs
late.
file it themselves?
Well, they typically hire an attorney to file the probate. That's how most
Okay.
states operate. So they're not like the day they die, they're not running out to go get a probate attorney. They've probably already been in touch with them if they're older. And So once they file the probate, usually 30 to 60 days has already gone by past the funeral, in my experience. So it's not like off an obituary, man. That's ice cold stuff right there, man. That's terrible.
Yeah.
So the problem is if you go too far back in probates, you're getting dead leads and you're wasting your time. I thought I was cute. I pulled all like 6 months or 12 months of probates and I didn't get a deal. The only ones I got deals with, the ones that fresh came off the press.
Yeah.
And you just got to be nicer and you got to be more patient than all the other people. And guys, I don't claim to do hundreds of probates a year. I do 10 to 15 probates a year, but they are monsters. I mean, my profit level on a probate is approaching each one of them like triple figures. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. That's why I do them, but I don't do a lot of them. That's why there's like gurus don't like to brag about them because they're not like, but they're cheap. They're easy and they're vacant and they're usually run down houses and they are like a dream for a wholesaler. If you guys don't do probates, you're missing the boat. So
yeah.
Okay, what else you got?
I think that was it. So yeah.
Okay. That's right. I got to watch my Miami Heat tonight. I just got to clean up on the Sixers. I hope there's not too many Sixer fans on here, but it's just sports on it, man. I love it. Okay, bud. Anything else?
No, that's it. I appreciate your time.
So guys, probates requires patience and it requires to have like a human heart. You can't just run people over. It's like crazy. So you got it, man. Just work on that and then you know where to join us. So
all right.
Okay, I'm in overtime here. You know what that means.
Let's see.
Jeremiah, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, let's go, man. Let's go. What you got?
All right, man. So what it is I've had a lot of deals, and I'm just getting to where they gotta close. I haven't been able to close one. I keep locking them up.
Okay.
So right now I'm doing a virtual deal because my market's in Sacramento, and
Okay.
I locked up a deal in Chicago like the first month that I started, and it's a fully refurnished house, so it's a little bit different. I did some seller financing on the deal. It's a 3-unit apartment, apartment building, and so the seller, he's a tire landlord. He wants to get into Atlanta and leave all his Chicago days behind. Great.
Okay.
Now I have a buyer that I'm still vetting. I'm about to vet them because I watched your video and I just said, hey,
Okay.
I need your proof of funds, and I need to sign off. So now he's selling 2 properties, and I don't want to fumble the deal, man. And then I have another question. I'll make it short, but he has 2 properties he's selling. One of them's a tear down, and he's willing to give it to me at land price, and the people don't know that. But I'm seeing how these cash buyers want to run me over. They're vicious.
It's terrible.
So
so you
my
don't.
question, yeah, they're terrible. So my question really,
Okay. So go ahead. What's your question?
just finding the cash buyers in that area. I know how to do it. I mean, I know how to do it really, but I just want to know that I'm doing the right thing. I kind of messed up. I did mess up. I'll tell you this, that I gave them the exact price for the big one, the 6-unit, and then I gave them a different price, and then I did the right thing on the single family. So they got this idea for the 3-unit. And I'm trying to fix that fumble because, as a new wholesaler, I got in by a guru and I was just super excited. You know what I mean?
Jeremiah, I
So,
love all your, you got kind of just ask me a question so I can help you out here. I'm in overtime here. I want to help you out, but I love the story. I mean, you're taking a lot of action. And by the way, you're going to make mistakes. Everybody makes them.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
part of the experience. The idea is, can you recover from your mistake and can you move forward? Your cash buyers, you have to wear a completely different hat because do you suffer from nice guy syndrome?
I do. I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have the same thing I do. So um, either find somebody in your family that can help you, um, find someone that can be like militant and follow, hey, get this proof of funds, this and this and that, and then you go from there. I'm just telling you, your cash buyers are working you, they're causing you stress, and you can't. You're only going to make one of them happy. That's it. Maybe two, but that's it. You're just not obligated to make them all happy. They work for you. You don't work for them, and you fire anyone that does not follow your direction. I'm just telling you, I've learned this the hard way. You have to control it. So just go check out, me and Zach shot a bunch of videos just on cash buyers, the vetting process. Go through it. Do not deviate on one thing. And I'm telling you, you're going to give simple answers, and the key here is do not get a relationship with a cash buyer. I'm talking about like a friendship. And Jeremiah, I think you got plenty of friends anyway, so I don't think it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Don't be friends with them. And just say, if they don't follow your exact thing, so has any of your cash buyers followed your directions yet?
No.
Okay, fix it. That's it. Move on. If you can't give me the proof of funds, we're not even going to have a conversation. Oh, well, that's personal information. That's private. You said you were a cash buyer. I just have to make sure what you say is true. You don't trust me? No, I don't. I don't know you. And just move on. Like, honestly, once I kind of took this thing, but I gave away millions of dollars for like 3 or 4 years, bro. I should have been. I was just young and dumb, and I don't want you to make the same mistake. You only need to make one person happy. That's you and your family. You're not screwing anyone over. You worked hard. How hard you work to get that deal? Jeremiah, how hard did you work to get that deal under contract?
Right. Right.
Okay. You're cutting out, Jeremiah. We're going to connect next week. I got to roll because I
got one more question.
I know. We're going to talk, but I'll talk to you. So, guys, I'm not ignoring you guys on the line here. I'm going to answer a couple questions. Eric says, does probates work virtually? Absolutely. Absolutely. But you do have to be familiar with your probate laws in the state you're working. So if you're going to do it virtually, take the time to research it, connect with a title company and a lawyer that can help you navigate through it. See, Jason's got it right, man. I love me some basketball, man. I love anything like competitive. I enjoy it, man. But I'm still a Miami Dolphins fan, but they disappoint me since the day I was born. So it's like crazy. Let's see here. You guys are answering most of the questions. So you guys can work with each other. I see the markets on here. So do me a favor, guys. If you guys are new to this, you're watching me on TikTok, go to Flip with Rick YouTube. It's all recorded there. You can watch it at your convenience. We did a slideshow earlier presentation. We also have a 90-day challenge. We got up to $10,000 in cash prizes. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. You got to register with it. If you go to YouTube at Flip with Rick, we'll show you how to do the whole thing if you watch yesterday's live with me and Zach. Also, do me a favor, guys, I reopened up my YouTube channel. Check out Rick Ginn. I'm eventually going to put on some content that's outside of real estate, just fun stuff. Everybody asks me, what's your average day look like? I'm going to just have to show it to you and bore the heck out of you. But I do lots of fishing. I do a lot of boating trips. We like to travel, have a good time. And then also check out my son's channel, Zach Ginn, for you younger tots out there. He likes to have a lot of fun. So we like to the idea of social media is to get you to connect with us, to kind of like get to know you on a personal basis. So me and Zach opened up kind of our personal channels to help out, and you can kind of see kind of like the dad and son relationship and just have fun with it. So guys, go to YouTube, Flip with Rick. The entire contents are recorded on this video, especially if you're on TikTok. I appreciate you guys being out there. Guys, have a wonderful weekend. Go out, get some deals. And guys, do not complicate wholesaling. It will change your life. I'll talk to you soon.